Hey everyone, welcome to the RealmSmith Into the Mist bonus one-shot for Jasper's Game Day. This charity and this day is incredibly important to us here at RealmSmith. And a lot of you know who watch our regular streams that we lost a dear friend of ours and fellow cast member Todd Harris to suicide a year last April. It was incredibly horrifying and terrible and saddening, and all of the things that come with suicide and losing somebody that you care about so very deeply. And so this charity is incredibly close to us, and I couldn't miss it. I wanted to be a part of it. And when I reached out to Fenway and said, hey, listen, we really want to do this, she was happy to have us. And then we were floored to have the folks who are joining us join us and bid as much as they did to have a seat at our table. The folks that are joining us are also members of our community. For those of you who aren't familiar with RealmSmith, we are a live play, actual play stream on Twitch. We have a show called Into the Mist on Monday nights, which is an official Dungeons & Dragons Curse of Strahd game. And that airs 7 p.m. Eastern time on Twitch slash D&D and twitch.tv slash RealmSmith. And so you can check us out there. We were supposed to be hosting this as well, and we're not yet because I forgot to do that. So if Julian or somebody is watching, maybe you can do that, because that would be great. Or maybe I will do that in a second. But anyways, we should be hosting on RealmSmith, and we will be shortly. I'd love to introduce our players tonight, and we'll jump right in. We've got a 3-hour game for everybody today. We are raising funds, of course, for suicide prevention and awareness, and the links are, of course, at the top of the screen for you all to kind of check out and go and support. There's been a bunch of money raised, and I know that there is a website at tinyurl.com, JGD0 2020. Go there and show your support. And just want to thank everybody that's already joined us. So the way that it works on our channel at RealmSmith, the subscribers can subscribe and then join a role-playing server on our Discord. And in that role-playing server this season, it changes from season to season, but for this season, for Curse of Strahd, they're playing Vistani. And so the folks that are joining us today are actually Vistani members from camps who exist in our role-play server. And the way that it works is that those camps and the role-play that occurs in those camps actually affects our live streams and vice versa. Well, today you get to see the interactive nature of it incarnate. You get to see it actually hit the screen, and this is a canon RealmSmith one-shot where it basically occurs between season 1 of Into the Mist and season 2 of Into the Mist. There aren't any real spoilers in this one shot, so you can watch it and you can go back and see the rest on youtube.com/RealmSmith and youtube.com/DND. I think that's all the housekeeping stuff. We can go ahead and we can say hello to all of our players today. First off, I want to say a massive welcome to, again, our community members. We have Mercy, who is Sakura on our Discord. And then we have James and also Tasha, who is joining us today. You guys want to introduce yourselves? Just tell us who you're playing, who you are, and I'm going to put you on the spot, why you decided to play with us today, and what kind of made you want to give to Jasper's Game Day and then be a part of this. We're going to put Tasha on the spot first.
Okay. So my character is Apollonia Ulrich. She is the youngest of the 4 of us playing as Ulrich siblings in the clan.
Yeah.
She is a half orc, so she's been a lot of fun to try and learn to play, and she is a fighter. My reasoning for why I wanted to come play with you all. A few years ago, I went through a pretty traumatic accident myself, resulting in a lot of mental health issues myself to the point of considering suicide. And so knowing that this is something that's going to prevent that and from other people having to go through that and try and help them so that they don't do what I was considering was really important. And knowing that it was also super important to you guys because you guys have also gone through that, I knew it was definitely going to be a really close cause for all of us.
Amazing. And thank you so much. We lost James. And so the screens have kind of messed up. We're very used to that here at RealmSmith. So I know that James will come back into the call and hopefully things will sort out. So we're going to go to Mercy.
Hi, I am Mercy. As he said, I am Sakura163 on Twitch and Twitter. So you guys, a lot of D&D places have already met me. My story is pretty much the same. I have been fighting mental illnesses my whole life, and when I was younger, actually attempted and luckily did not succeed in taking my own life. And I have lost a few people in the same manner. So this is very, I'm going to cry now, very near to
You're
me.
going to make us all.
Very near to me to help others, especially young people, and especially in this time when you can't really be as close as you want to be to people. So just know we're all here for you. We love you, and I'm gonna cry now. So that's all I need to say right now. My character is from Camp Tamazar. Her name is Misery Cardia. She is a half wood elf druid, and I can't wait to play her with you.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, Mercy, for sharing. That takes a lot for that. So thank you so much. I'll bring myself together here. We'll just wait for James to join here again. Of course, we have a regular cast member, Brandon Perkins, joining us. He knew Todd well, of course. We're all friends at the table, so obviously I know. I'll let him talk about that a bit. But he plays Sterling on our Into the Mist stream, and then he also plays Snow in our Tides of Wildmount campaign as well. Brandon, welcome, buddy.
So yes, I mean, thanks for the introduction. This is really important to me personally, as it is for all of us around RealmSmith, because of everything that happened with Todd. And so, I mean, it's something that we all still deal with every day. So I know I think about him every single day. And I'm sure it's the same with everybody else at RealmSmith. But I just want to say to anybody that's watching, if you need to talk to somebody, do it. Like, if you're going through something that's really hard, make sure you reach out and let them know, because they don't always know what's going on with you, as perceptive as we can be as friends. Everybody's that cares about you is there for you, right? And if you can reach out to, there's all kinds of services out there that can help you to get through this, that can help you to reach the next good day, So I'm in favor of reaching out to talk to a therapist or anything as well. And there's a lot of great services out there that allow you to do it online right now. You can just chat, and it's really easy to do. I myself am working with BetterHelp right now. And it's been a really good experience. So I think if anybody is having any issues at all, don't hesitate, just reach out and talk to somebody, because there are people out there that know what they're doing and they can help you.
Thanks, buddy. And if anybody's interested in seeing our tribute to Todd that we had, it's raw and it's emotional and there's a lot of tears. That is on our YouTube as well. We took a break the week after he passed and it did a stream, complete kind of tribute episode. So we welcome back, James. I think we have you back on screen here. I'm seeing you in the Zoom call. It's okay. This happens. It happens all the time here at RealmSmith. So don't feel bad. But if you can just give us a quick intro to who you're playing, and then also why you decided to be a part of today with us.
Sure. So I am playing Nico Ulrich. He's a level 3 human rogue mastermind. So it's a little bit different character than I'm used to, but I will definitely try it out. And I felt the need to donate because I lost my uncle quite a while ago to suicide on his 30th birthday. So it affects us all in different ways, and I thought this would be a really good way to, give support and help people out there who need it still.
Amazing. And thank you so much for doing that. Like I said, it means so much to us that people are willing to give of their resources to help these causes. And awesome. All right, Nora, thank you so much for being here and for joining us, especially last minute like this, in the incredible role that you play on our stream on a regular basis. If you can give me the same sort of thing.
Oh yes, thank you. My name's Nora. You can find me on Noralogical on Instagram and Twitter. And I play Esmeralda, who is an NPC in the Curse of Strahd campaign. And I really wanted to be a part of this this charity stream because first of all, gaming, specifically tabletop gaming, has immensely contributed to the amount of joy I have in my life. And I think no matter what people's experiences are in life, I think we all have had moments where we've experienced really tough times, regardless of what that is for you. But the commonality of that is the feeling that you're alone in it. And so having something like this there where you can reach out, especially to younger people, and to let them know that they're not alone and that there's people out there who care for you, and then there's always like a way to reach out. I think is really important. So I'm very honored to be here today.
Thank you so much. And we're honored to have you. It's going to be a blast. Finally, Josh, buddy, old pal, this is your second or third time on screen with us.
Second, yeah.
You're typically behind the screen, or behind the camera, I should say. Josh is one of our producers, and he's also part of the plot team that helps out on Monday nights, and he is integral to everything that we do at RealmSmith. So first of all, thank you, dude, for your gracious and wonderful support of our channel, and also the thankless job of producing. And I know you enjoy it, and I know we all enjoy it, but if you can do the same, please.
Yeah, my name's Josh Crusoe. I do production at RealmSmith. Today I'll be playing Madame Helena, who is one of the Rani of the Vistani camps on our Discord, and just kind of happy to be here. Exciting
Awesome.
times.
Thanks, buddy. All right, let's jump right in here. Just make sure that we're good to go, and then we can go. Sirenscape is a partner of ours, and so we are using Sirenscape today. Hopefully you can all hear it, and it'll just add a little bit of ambiance to today's session. As I mentioned before, today's session starts off with you guys specifically Sterling and Esmeralda in Vallaki. In the days leading up to today, you battled Strahd for the first time. He came to the church within Vallaki in search of his love, of his quarry, Irina. She was defended by her brother and by the priest who was there. You all came to her aid. Strahd showed up with his vampire spawn cohort and tested you. And you knew this was a test because when it came to the point where you felt that all was lost, he left. More happened after that, but in the following days after this, Vallaki was in ruins. A zombie horde had approached the gates of Vallaki and had attacked, and the wonderful people, including our community members, helped to hold back that zombie horde, but damage was done. Vallaki was in ruins, or some, if not much of Vallaki, was in ruins. And you've spent the last day or so helping to rebuild, using your abilities, your strengths, to help the people of Vallaki kind of come back from defeat and from feeling like all may have been lost. They had lost militia members, they had lost townsfolk. Esmeralda, you also have obviously stuck around. You've found some, I guess, kinship with the adventurers that you had faced Strahd with. You know there's something special about them. A gentleman by the name of Rectavio you had just met, who came to your aid. He was a carnival owner, and accomplished caster, who came to your aid, but he has since kind of disappeared into the Vallaki environment, the Barovian countryside, and you haven't seen him in the last day or so. Sterling, you have used your Warforged might and constitution to help to carry all manner of heavy beams, stone, and anything that kind of the Vallaki people and the Barovian people have needed for you to help with. You've also become heroes in some way, shape, or form. People revere you. They look upon you in awe, and not quite understanding fully what you are, but accepting you as one of those that brought their town back from certain death and certain destruction. One day, in the morning of the second day, as usual, you are helping to rebuild parts of the town. In fact, at this point, there is a lonely cottage dwelling that you are helping to replaster one of the walls. Throughout the last number of days, too, you've taken little breaks to play with the children of Vallaki. The Mardukov boys have kind of brought their friends around, and that much wanted hide and seek game that you, for the first time in your life, participated in the Blue Water Inn, has now become kind of a daily thing. And, you know, kind of in the afternoon, you take a little break, you chase the kids around, they ride on you like a transformer, and you guys just have a really great time. And for the first time, you're feeling a lot more child than machine through this process. You've also come to know that in your last session of hide and go seek, that you noticed some children come around who seem to be a bit more ragged than the rest, a little bit more dirt caked, unkempt, and the Barovian people in general are drab, and not as full of life as you're used to from where you came from, and from the books that you've read. But in this case specifically, you do notice that they're a little kind of down on their luck, homeless perhaps. One of the children, as you're plastering this wall, you look to your right and you see a child kind of poke his head around the corner of this dwelling. As you turn and you notice him, he smiles and he kind of waves and then he darts off around the corner. What do you do?
I guess I'll put my plastering tools down and just go and peek around the corner to see if I can still see him.
And at this point, you're kind of alone because of all of the things that need to happen. You know, the party has been kind of spread across Vallaki doing different things, each kind of lending their own expertise in different areas of the town. And you go around and you peek, and he is now at the opposite end of the cottage. and you see him kind of peek around the corner, and he lets out a little smile. And this boy specifically is dark hair, but these piercing blue eyes, but he's got kind of soot or dirt kind of caked in certain areas of his face. You can tell that his shirt is moth-eaten and ragged, and he kind of looks around again, he smiles again, and he darts around the corner.
Okay. So I was gonna try to wave to him, but he went away too quickly. So I'm gonna assume that he's playing a game or something right now. So I'm gonna just I'm gonna follow, and I'm gonna try to be really quiet so I can sneak up this time, catch him by surprise.
Okay, I'd like you to give me a survival check, please.
All right. Let's see, that's a 7.
Okay, with a 7, he is. You start to follow him on the road west. East out of Vallaki, and not or the east road that eventually leaves Vallaki. And you notice that you only see him when he allows you to see him. And he basically and obviously knows these streets incredibly well, to the point where he'll disappear left, and then a couple minutes later he'll appear right. And you're like, how is he doing this? And you start to kind of follow him down this street, and he continues to kind of urge you further. And when you think you've lost him, he'll pop his head out or his arm out, and he'll wave, almost like he's leading you somewhere.
Is this? I mean, we're in Vallaki, right?
Yep.
So I mean, how spooky is it right now? Would I be feeling unnerved?
Yeah, give me an insight check.
All right, I can do that. I'm using D&D dice today. The D&D Beyond dice. Oh, dirty 20.
Nice. No, you feel fine. It's overcast as usual, so the usual Barovian feeling that you get in the atmosphere is absolutely what it always is, but you've kind of got used to it at this point. But this feels playful, and it feels fun, and it feels like all the other sessions that you've done up to this point.
It's practically a sunny day. Okay. Do I have any of my equipment with me, or would I have left that back at the Blue Water Inn?
No, you would have it at Blue Water Inn. I don't imagine you would have brought your equipment to do kind of the work that you've been doing.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well.
You may have some. I'd say weapons for sure, but I imagine your pack with all your stuff would have probably been left in your room.
Okay, but I would have my sword and my shield potentially, or.
Yeah, you could if you want. That's up to you.
Okay, and maybe so I would say that because of where we are, sword and shield and drift globe at least, and that's probably
okay.
Yeah,
cool.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'll have driffles tied to me a balloon around my waist. So, so I'll continue to follow as best as I can, and I'll how are you doing that? You're just appearing out of where? What did you? This is amazing.
Point, you hear, and he kind of runs across the road, and he leads you east quite a ways actually, until you find yourself at the gates of the Erisic stockyard, and this large stockyard, not incredibly well, but you've passed it. You guys stopped here to look at the wares that they offered in the actual store that's connected, and it's kind of a general store with general goods. And this large stockyard has several locked sheds along its periphery and lies adjacent to a roomy warehouse. A wooden sign above the front gate reads Erisic Stockyard. And you do see that there is, in the south end of the stockyard, you notice that there is a sturdy carnival wagon. Its colorful paint peeling off, faded lettering on its side spells out the words Rectavio's Carnival of Wonders. And you've seen this before. You don't necessarily know what this wagon is at this point, but you do see the boy behind the wagon kind of poke his head out from a distance. He's somehow gotten into this yard, and there are people kind of walking, but most people are now inside. They're licking their wounds, they're making repairs, so the streets aren't as busy as they typically are at this time of day, and it is still morning.
Is he close enough that he could hear a whisper potentially? If I'm like you shouldn't be in there. If
you do a loud spoken whisper, I would say yes.
Okay, so that's what I'm doing. I'm saying essentially that I don't want to get in trouble. I don't think you're supposed to be there.
And he motions you in. And there's basically a gate with a big fence. And the fence is probably about 10 feet tall.
Okay. And I know Rictavio at this point because we fought against Strahd with him and everything. And I guess I'll think like, well, I know the guy. He probably wouldn't mind if I got a closer look at his wagon. So do I see a way to get in to the stockyard?
So there are a big set of gates. There is like a padlock on the gates. And last time, I think you guys asked about it in the general store. And basically, there are a number of sheds, basically, that line the inside of the stockyard. And basically, it's a place where the people of Vallaki can store their goods. And all of these kind of sheds, and there's a number of them across the back. And then there's just like stacks of crates and boxes covered by tarps and things of the sort.
Okay. Do I get the sense that there's any easy way for me to be able to, hop the fence or something?
Yeah, you would imagine that you could climb it fairly easily. Yeah. Without being seen is going to be debatable based on your rolls, but you absolutely think that you could climb it.
All right, I'm gonna give it a try. I'm gonna find the most obscured place I can, and I'm gonna try to get over that fence quietly.
Okay. Give me an athletics check, please.
Okay, I can do that. It's an 18.
Okay. With an 18, you have no problem. You kind of look around, and you get up this fence and over the other side, no problem. But you are now inside of the fence, but you are out in the open, and you see him kind of dart back behind the wagon, and he is gone again.
All right, so I'll go up to the wagon. I'll start looking around, and while I'm here, I'm just going to kind of get a close-up view of this wagon and try to get a sense of what's going on with this, because it did catch my attention the first time we saw it past the fence. So I'm just going to kind of, give it an inspection and give it a look over.
Yeah, sure. You kind of get to it, and as you start to approach it, and as you're kind of walking around it and looking at it, the wagon suddenly lurches, as though something big has thrown itself against the inside wall. You hear the slight cracking of wood and the scraping of metal and the snarl of something inhuman inside.
All right.
Upon closer inspection, you see that the sides of the wagon are spattered with dry blood. You also see an inscription on the wagon's door frame that reads, "I bring you from shadow into light."
Ooh, kid, you didn't hide inside this, did you? Because are you being eaten right now?
So at this point, you see him actually on the periphery of the stockyard, and he is behind one of these sheds. That is, and again, these sheds are all kind of stacked against the back fence. And there is a number of them, and it's almost like it's just a jumble of kind of these sheds that kind of sit, and a bit of a maze through it, almost like a storage
all right
yard.
All right, I mean, there you are, and I go full sprint.
Okay, all right, so you go full sprint towards it. When you get to the shed, you kind of stop, you look to one side, nothing. You look to the other side, and as you kind of come around the back, you notice that there's a hole that has been basically like broken out of the side and dug out of the side. And it looks like partly like it's been worn with time, and partly like it's actually been purposely made a little bit bigger. And it's kind of hitting the ground. It's about 4 feet tall and about 3 to 4 feet across. You could get in. It's going to be tight, but you hear inside this hole from some sort of child, and it seems like it goes like into the side of one of these sheds.
All right, so I kind of take a mechanical breath as I can, I guess, without lungs, just the sound of it, like a okay. And so I'll get down, hands and knees, and start to climb into this hole, as tight as trying to get keep up with this game.
Yeah, I got it. So you crawl for some time, and actually you crawl into this shed, and it opens up, and it's almost like there's been a hallway that has been created with crates and like scrap pieces of wood. And as you start to crawl, it's a bit of a maze that kind of snakes and switches back. And eventually you come to an opening, and there is what you can see is candlelight coming from kind of the distance. And you imagine you've traveled probably about 20 feet at this point on hands and knees through all of these tunnels. Some of them kind of come off, but you continue to kind of follow this sound of this snickering boy. And you come, like I said, to a mouth of a larger kind of chamber with candlelight that is emanating from beyond.
Okay. Do I get any sense of like deception from this kid?
Yeah, no, it still feels playful.
Okay.
And with your dirty 20, you don't get sense of danger or any sort of bad ill will from him. The laugh isn't creepy, even though the setting is.
All right, I'll continue forward towards the candlelight.
So as you kind of breach the opening area, this opens up into a larger, what looks like maybe another storage shed. It's about 8 feet tall and about 8 feet across and square. And in the center of the room is this boy, and he's sitting in front of a candle, and there are children who appear homeless, sitting in all of kind of the corners, huddled up. You see kind of makeshift bedrolls and supplies that they use in order to kind of keep themselves warm and alive. And this, you imagine, is where they live. At a quick count, you count 11 children, including this boy who sits. And he kind of looks at you, and he smiles, and he kind of puts his hand, he kind of taps the floor beside you.
So, I mean, this is a little bit heartbreaking to me, but I'll come and I'll sit down. And how many do I recognize? Are these all new kids, or have
history check,
played?
Please?
Okay. It's 15.
Yeah, so with the 15, you absolutely recognize 4 of them. And they kind of like smile, and some of them wave. For the most part, they're all fairly shy, but in awe, seeing you close up and in their space. And in this moment, you actually feel quite honored to have been welcomed. You imagine that not many adults or big people have been welcomed into their space. And he says, please, will you come? Please, sit with us. And you imagine this boy's probably about 7-8 years old.
Yeah, I'll sit with you for sure. It's a nice fort you guys made here. But is there anything you need? I could get you some food or water or new clothes or something. I don't have a lot of money, but I can do what I can.
From the back corner, you hear a deeper, kind of older voice, and a voice says, "This is our home. It is not a plaything. It is not a fort. It is how we live." And you can see that there is about a 13 to 14-year-old boy whose voice and demeanor speaks well beyond his years. And you imagine he is kind of the elder of this troop of children. And he says, "I have been told that you play with my friends and that you are very brave. Is this true?"
Well, I play with your friends. I guess I'm brave. This place is kind of dangerous compared to the world I come from, but I do my best.
And you
need help?
You have powerful friends, powerful companions that join you in your fight against evil. Is that right?
Yes. Callie particularly is good at stabbing things in the eye holes.
Well, I was very hesitant to have you come here. There is something I would like to ask of you, because I don't know what to do. There used to be 15 of us. 4 have gone missing in the last day. We don't know where. But they go in the night. 2 last night, 2 the night before.
From here?
Yes.
So they disappear from this room?
From the surrounding area. It happens in the evening when the kids they go out, they don't come back. And I don't know what to do. And the rest of us and some of them who have come to trust you have said that you can maybe help us.
Yes, don't worry. I'm here. And I will do everything I can to help you.
We are afraid that they are coming back tonight. And I don't want to lose any more.
I don't want you to lose any more either. I want to help any way I can, but I need to know absolutely every single detail of what you know.
The first night, the kids went out to look for scraps for when the garbage is taken out, and from the houses around Valaki, and an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours passed and they didn't come back.
See.
The second night, 2 more went out because we must eat. And they came back. We heard them outside the entrance, but then we heard a scream and some shuffling and some running, and then they were gone too. And they have not come back either. And it is very not like them. We always come back, all of us, every night, to make sure that we are safe.
I see. Okay, well, that's a starting point. Then maybe tonight I can get some wolf steaks or something from the Blue Water Inn to bring to you so you don't have to go out. And I can look around. I can sit and stake out the location and see if there's anything that I can see, anything devious going on.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it, and we will stay safe. We won't send any kids out tonight.
Yes, please don't take extra risk. I want to give you what you need so you don't have to go out.
The wolf sticks will feed us more than we're usually used to eating. I thank you.
They didn't fill up and enjoy. You all deserve to have a full tummy.
At this point, the little boy who you followed in kind of comes over and he hugs you kind of from behind. He kind of jumps on your back, and you feel like a little kiss on the back of your head. And he kind of leaves and he goes back to the candle. And what do you do?
So these locations where your friends were searching, I think I should start there. Is there one that you might recommend I go to first?
Not particularly. They just scavenge. They start close. They start at the general store with what they may have thrown out that day, and then they kind of go from there through the streets.
Have you heard of any adults going missing, or is it just children?
Just children, that's all I've heard. We don't...
I'm nervous that if I go, then I may scare away whatever is doing this. As I am large. But perhaps I can sneak and be quiet and stay out of sight.
Perhaps, but I suggest you get help.
Yes, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. I don't like to be alone around here. Yeah. I'm gonna go and see if I can find help. I'll bring you food first, okay? Is there anything else you need?
No.
Okay.
I just need to not lose any more friends.
Of course. And I will do everything in my power to make sure you don't lose any more friends.
Okay. At this point, you feel that the conversation has kind of come to a natural end. You make your way back out the small tunnel back out into the stockyard, and you're met again by the overcast sky. And the day that seemed joyful not only 20 minutes ago has a dreary feeling about it, a hopelessness that has replaced that joy of you playing with the kids. What do you do?
Well, first of all, I'm going to get some food, and I'm going to get it to the kids. And then after that, I'm going to seek out anyone that I can to help, and tell them all of the details that I know.
So you cross the town, and you come back to the Blue Water Inn. And as you walk into the Blue Water Inn, it's actually quite quiet this time of day. There are some people drowning their sorrows, some people who have maybe even lost their homes, or homes are being repaired while they're taking care of kind of forgetting the activity of the last couple days. But as you do come in, you do see a familiar face, and it's Esmeralda, who sits at one of the tables, and she's enjoying some salted pork and some potatoes as you walk in, and your eyes meet, and immediately, Esmeralda, you sense kind of a downtrodden, sort of saddened Sterling. What do you do?
I gesture for him to. Sterling, come here.
So I go to join her.
Okay.
Esmeralda. Hello.
Listen, for a warforged, I'm still trying to learn, but you don't seem so chipper today. No kids chasing around? No playing hide and seek?
I'm quite disturbed. What I thought was a game of hide and seek turned out to be a discovery, as I learned that some of the homeless children in the area are disappearing in the evenings as they scavenge for food. Disappearing. Not coming back at all. They had 15, now they are 11. And over the last few days, they've lost 4.
Does it seem unusual to them? Like, do they go and come back in a few days, or what is...
No, it seems quite unusual. They say that they always return back so that they can ensure that everyone is safe. But lately, more of them have not been returning.
It's really unfortunate.
It is. And I don't know how to help them, but I think if we can find the culprit, maybe we can protect them from further hurt.
And Sterling, you were told that early in the morning that the rest of your adventuring party actually headed to the village of Barovia to actually get some more supplies that they needed, and kind of surrounding areas to do some of these repairs that need to be done in Vallaki. So they're out on errands in the rest of Barovia right now. Esmeralda and you are actually the only group that are kind of left from that adventuring party. Though Esmeralda, you do have friends who you know are not loyal to Strahd. There are Vistani that are, and you've, over the last number of weeks, have been kind of trying to sort through, and through the research that you've learned from Van Richten's writings, kind of that which camps are loyal to Strahd and which are not. And you know that there is a specific Rowney that could potentially help you in this quest. And perhaps this person, who Rowney is a kind of a head chief elder of the Vistani in all of Barovia, and kind of oversees all the camps. And you imagine that with the lack of other party members, that perhaps you could get some help from some family.
Sterling, I know that the rest of our party is away, so I'm afraid we might be outnumbered if we're taking this on together. However, there are a few friends, well, acquaintances, people I know, the Vistani, that might be able to help us.
Really?
Yeah. So some of the nearby camps, I think if we go to one of the chiefs, we'll be able to see who can help us, because not everybody is going to be loyal to Strahd. And those, I just really am wary of seeking the help from somebody who might be, who knows, maybe a culprit in this. So I can show you where they are.
Yes.
And then perhaps we can take a closer look at where these children are staying.
Trust you. I think we think similarly in lines of good and evil, especially in this place. I think anyone that you would recommend would be a wonderful help.
Well, I commend you for doing the right thing. It's not always an easy thing to do.
Thank you for helping. I'm going to bring food to them so that they don't have to scavenge tonight. I want them to have full bellies for quite some time. I hope that we can resolve this sooner than later.
I hope so too. Have you brought food to them yet?
Jay, have I brought food to them yet?
No, you just got to the Blue Water Inn and you saw Esmeralda here before you could actually get these supplies that you wanted.
I have not brought them food yet, but I plan to. I'm going to collect as much as I can, maybe enough for a couple of meals for them. And I was thinking maybe some damp cloths. They look quite dirty. Maybe they could use with a wash, and they could wash themselves. And but I cannot show you where they are. They have a secret place where they hide.
Oh, okay. Jason, do I have my wagon parked or hitched at this
Not
inn?
here. No, you don't. But you do know that Madame Helena is she's the one that you probably trust the most. You've had some run-ins with her and she's given you some information. And probably the best place to find her or to learn of her whereabouts would be from Madame Eva and that camp.
Okay. My intention was to kind of like get a lot of food and put it in the wagon and transport it that way.
Yeah.
So would that be something Madame Helena would be able to help us out with?
Possibly. Yeah, you could possibly borrow a Vardo and a wagon if you wanted to. If they knew that that needed to happen. Okay. But you know that they have access to wagons. Your wagon again is parked where it typically is. No spoilers. And you've kind of left it there. That's where it stayed because it's cumbersome to travel with it. And you decided to not bring a lot of attention to yourself and stay as kind of low key as possible, traveling the roads instead.
Okay. Well, I don't have my wagon with me, and I thought that maybe if we did want to give, how many children are there?
11.
Okay. If you want to provide food for at least more than one meal, then perhaps I was thinking of loading up a wagon with food, but I don't have my wagon with me. I can
carry a lot.
Okay. Well, we could do that. I thought we could also maybe put it in find a wagon to bring it over. But if you feel like you can carry enough, I can help you.
Whatever you think is easiest.
I think getting food for 11 people, maybe we should find a friend of mine, Madame Helena. Perhaps we could borrow her wagon.
Yes, okay.
Okay. So you like I said, you do know that Madame Eva kind of understands and knows where everybody's at.
Oh, Madame Eva, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. Madame Helena, is there a camp that you typically frequent, or that would be a location that you know is kind of where she would be at any given time? Or how would people get a hold of you?
Most likely through magical means, through the sending stones of the camps and that kind of thing.
Of course. Okay. So in that case, you head over to Madame Eva's camp. It takes you a little time to get there, but you arrive in a short while. You are greeted by some of the senior Vistani that are there, and you know and you've heard of this technology that they have that exists within a dream catcher. And basically it's a dream catcher with a number of stones, and they're sending stones. And you can actually call for people and they can actually return through magical means. So through this whole process, immediately there's a flash of purple energy as Madame Helena appears before you, kind of in the middle of camp where this dreamcatcher hangs. And you know that these dreamcatchers kind of link the good aligned camps throughout Barovia.
Hello, Madam Helena.
Oh, hello. How are you doing?
Well, I guess as good as it can be in this land. It's not always the best. Actually, we're in a little bit of a predicament here. Not ourselves, but we've heard of some children who've gone missing recently. Sterling, perhaps you can tell her.
Yes, in the town of Valaki, there were 15 children, all homeless, and 4 have gone missing over the last number of days. And they are quite concerned that if they were to go out and scavenge in the evenings, still, they would lose more. And I'm concerned as well. I want to bring them food and supplies, something to help them so that they don't have to scavenge for some time, so that we can get to the bottom of this.
Certainly.
We thought it might be best to have them all stay where they are and not leave at night. And for that, we're trying to bring them enough food to keep them indoors and not have them in need of to go searching for food. So we were wondering if you would be so kind as to allow us to borrow one of your wagons so that we can transport some food to them.
It's quite a big ask, I must say. But I imagine we could have it arranged. You say there are 11 children and some missing?
Yes, 4 are missing, but there are 11 that are still needing supplies now.
This is not the first I am hearing of children going missing either.
That's true.
Such is the way in Barovia, it seems.
Sorry, go ahead.
I will say that I am more than happy to compensate you for your generosity.
Me
I do
too.
not doubt this. And I take no issue. I trust in you. It is all right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We will
I
need more
appreciate you.
hands, though, if we are to move all of these goods.
I agree.
I'm very strong. I can pull heavy things and carry heavy things. Perhaps I could act like a horse to pull the wagon?
And made of metal acting as a horse. Now that would be a first.
And for the sake of everyone at home, Josh, can you give us a description of Madame Helena, please?
So Madame Helena is one of the Vistani leaders. She stands around 5'9", with deep brown hair weaved into braids which hang from the back and sides of her head. Her eyes are grayed over and almost misted, but her complexion is that of a 30-year-old woman, though no Vistani can remember her true age. She wears purple long robes that cover her arms, which flashes of light can randomly be seen from underneath them. And when she extends an arm, you can see tattoos of storms that run along them.
And at this point, you imagine needing the help that you feel that you need. You put the call out using the Dreamcatcher to the other camps. And in a short while, 3 more flashes of purple energy appear, and the 3 before us appear. I'd like you guys to describe your characters, please, starting with Tasha.
Okay, so I'm playing a half orc. She's a little bit on the taller side. She's about 5'10". She has what appears to be dark brown hair. When the light hits it a certain way, you can actually see it as red. She has 1 auburn eye and 1 green eye. She has wearing full chainmail with 2 short swords strapped to her back, as well as a crossbow and a dagger strapped to her hip.
James.
So you see a early 20s half-elf, dashingly handsome, long, thick black hair, about 5'11", lithe, very slim, with a rapier and dagger. He's wearing studded leather armor, fine silks, cream colors, dark blues, mother of pearl buttons, dressed to the nines. He has long dark hair, like I said, and also a green and amber eye.
And Mercy.
You see about. Oh, hold on.
Yeah, you're
Can you
good.
hear me? Okay.
Yep.
Sorry.
That's okay.
You see 5'8", very thin, like wayfish woman. She's in her mid-30s. She has very long, like platinum blonde hair, which covers most of the right side. She, you can see a scar coming out from the hair that goes down to her chin, and she's just in a regular red dress with a blue sash around her waist, and just wearing a studded leather breastplate.
Awesome. And now you are all now together in Madame Eva's camp.
Oh, you could just appear like that.
I'm never going to get used to that.
Brother,
It's the
it
only
has
way to
been some
travel,
time.
yeah.
So then, sister.
Why have we been called here?
Well,
Anyone
you
know?
see, we need some aid from some good friends.
Oh, Madam Helen.
It is a pleasure to see you, Sir. There are some missing children we have been informed of, as well as some who could use some food and some wares. So we will be taking care of them now. Perhaps they too will join the Vistani.
Oh, Madam.
Oh.
You know, Madam Helena, we will do it all for the kids.
It is always for the kids.
For the kids. Echoing from the distance.
You
Is somebody
say.
here, Gregor?
How many children did you say, Madam? Do we know how much food we need?
It seems that there is 11 of them and 4 have gone missing. So we will, of course, need enough food for 15, as we will be finding CL.
It's not just the food I ask your assistance with. If whoever is doing this is taking more than one child at a time each night, I'm afraid that should Sterling and I go alone to catch them, we might be outnumbered. So we ask in your bravery if you would help us on this mission.
But I hope you all brought your weapons.
I see a big grin come across Apollonia's face. She is super excited to go into battle.
That looks
And
like
of
a
course,
yes to
yes.
me.
You all have, yes. You all have
Yeah.
come completely ready. Okay.
Tell you how happy this makes me. Thank you so much for your help, all of you.
What is your first matter of business, party?
Well, I think you should first go investigate where they might have gone missing.
Sterling, was it? Where would you say we should start off?
Well, they would begin at the general store with their scavenging in Vallaki, and then move their way up the street, as I recall. Perhaps we should do the same. I think the disappearances were happening in the evenings and the nights, so we would be best to try to emulate their pattern.
I suppose so, but it is dangerous at night, especially for children.
It is.
It's true, but this is also the time that they've gone missing. So I think maybe, perhaps after we go back to the inn and supply them with some food and bring it to their location, perhaps we search the area, become more familiar with it, and then have ourselves a stakeout and ambush at night. And this is where her eyes like kind of gleam at the word ambush.
Very sound strategy, I think. Might be a good course to take.
I agree. If we can end whatever this danger is entirely, it would be for the best.
I know that Barovia is not the best place to raise children, and it can seem like these things happen far too often, but they shouldn't. And so it's not right for us to turn a blind eye to somebody in need.
I agree. Besides, these children may one day grow up to be able to help fight against the evils in this land.
It's true. Is everyone ready?
Yes.
Let us make our way.
Okay. You guys head out from Madame Eva's camp. You guys aren't taking a wagon at this point? Is that the idea? Or do you guys want to ask, did you want to ask Madame Eva to borrow a wagon, or what was kind of the approach there?
I would like to, if that's okay, if everybody agrees to load up a wagon with some food to keep them in their home safely for a night or two.
Yeah, something to provide for them. Just, before we do our ambush thing, just make sure that the kids have everything they need.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. So you head out from Madame Eva's camp, and you head again west back to Vallaki. It takes you a little time to get there, probably the equivalent of about half an hour to 45 minutes. When you arrive, again, you are now in the town. You have the day to yourselves. What do you do?
Well, I guess we get to know each other a little bit more, and each other's skills and so on.
Yep.
Apollonia, what do you think you would be doing as part of an ambush? What are you good at?
She kind of reaches up behind her and taps her swords.
Me too. I'm also good at that. Nico, what are you good at?
Well, I'm a little bit stealthy and a little bit quick of fingers, so perhaps that can come into an effect. I also have a good mind for tactics, so I will help where I can.
Thank you. Maybe you can help to organize what our ambush would look like.
Sure.
Misericordia?
Yes. I heal a bit, but I can be quite the mama bear at times if you need me to fight.
Yes. What kind of fighting do you do?
Let's just say my animal instincts take over.
Oh, interesting. So, Madam Helena, do
Yes,
you have some skills that you could help us with?
Of course. I regularly weave the mists into different magical enhancements, but I am no stranger to fighting with my hands either.
Magic is very helpful. It might help us to keep them from running away. Thank you all so much for helping. We're going to do some good today. We should see where the best place for ambush might be, and maybe go from there. We would have to lure the beast to this place if it does not wander there on its own, beast or person, whatever it may be.
Yes, I was going to ask, you don't have any clue of what this could be?
No ideas. None. The children just said that their friends went out and disappeared. And that could be many, many different things to do. It caused such damage. I'm very concerned for them. I don't know all of the creatures that are around here, but we know that there are vampires, and we know that there are other creatures that stalk in the forests as well. Should any of those come to the town, maybe they would be silent enough to be able to pull this off. Do you have any thoughts? You have all lived here for quite some time.
Well, it is a sour note to say. I have my concerns that there might be a more human element to all of this. Though you say we stalk a beast, perhaps that beast is but a man.
It is possible. I just assumed a beast, but you could be right. This could very well just be a person.
We should be prepared for anything.
I agree. It may be difficult for beasts and such to find their way to the general store, is all I am thinking.
Yes. Yes, let's first, so we already delivered everything to the kids, or?
Not yet. No, you've just kind of come into town. You're approaching kind of the center of town where the Blue Water Inn is, and then you've actually passed Erisic Stockyard. I'm assuming you're going to the Blue Water Inn to get food at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So you pass the stockyard on your way by in the wagon, and as you're kind of telling and talking about this, you point out the stockyard. Vistani actually are not allowed in Vallaki, and so before you get to Vallaki, you actually realize that you're bringing the wagon potentially into town is not the best look. Which I just remembered. But you imagine, though, amongst you with sacks and so on, you could probably get enough food and then just walk it over to the stockyard. But it was quicker and more secure to get here via wagon, obviously from the camp to Vallaki. At this point, you pass the stockyard, you start to head, you all, knowing you were going into Vallaki, have made sure that you kind of hide the more Vistani kind of look about you. You do know that the reason why Vallaki is untrusting of Vistani is because many of them are loyal to Strahd. And those have kind of given the Vistani as a whole a bad name. Your intention, obviously, is to bring that back around to show the people of Vallaki and of Barovia that there are Vistani who are loyal to what is good and what is pure, and who seek to dethrone and end the suffering here in Barovia. So as you start to kind of walk down the street, you are doing your best to kind of hide that aspect of yourselves to be able to do what you're able to do. If I can give you all a performance check, please. Or use any other abilities that you would want to use in order to hide or obscure your appearance. Go ahead with Tasha.
It's a 9.
9, James.
23, and I also have as a charlatan a false identity, which I have made it as I am just an old Barovian man. I put on a hood, put on an eye patch, and kind of make my hair gray, so I kind of just look like this old woodsman wandering through town.
Awesome. Mercy? No, not good. What was that?
Oh, you're just muted right now, sorry.
Oh, you're muted, yeah.
16,
okay.
Sorry.
16, okay, no problem. Esmeralda, you're used to doing this. What'd you roll?
I rolled an 18.
Okay. And Madam Helena?
I will prestidigitate my cloak to be like a ruddy brown, but I rolled an 8.
Okay. So you do notice, you care less, I would say. As a senior kind of Vistani member, you have lived this life longer than others, and are kind of tired of the bad rep that you get. And so, you try and do a bit, but you're like, whatever, if it gets found out, it gets found out. We'll deal with it. You've dealt with this for a long time.
I can duck my way out of anything.
Exactly. And of course, Tasha, you have swords sticking out, and you care less, again, about what people think of you. But the rest of you rolled fairly well. And so, those that are kind of sticking out like sore thumbs are kind of sticking to the center of the group. You are turning some heads because there is a large kind of armed group who's heading down the street, but you're doing your best to remain obscured as best as possible. You enter the Blue Water Inn, and as you do, you are greeted by Erwin, who is of course, Erwin Mardukov, who owns the Blue Water Inn. And you see him, and he has kind of wild, kind of black hair with a silver streak through it, and a big kind of beard, kind of feathered on the ends, and he is dressed quite finely for a Barovian. As he looks up at you and he nods as you come in the door.
Mr. Martikov, I would ask for your assistance, and I'm wondering how much it might cost, but...
when he says that, I just slam a bag of gold coins onto the countertop.
Okay.
And
He says, yeah, he says, oh, I assume the favor you are about to ask is requires some wealth from the sound of your coin purse. You have done much for our town, and I am very gracious. And he kind of looks around at the group behind you, and you can see that his eyes, he takes notice of certain members of the group, and knowing, or and most of you kind of understanding what is going on, but you know, and you've sensed that there is depth to Erwin that isn't surface. And so even though there is a realization of who you are, there isn't any sort of contempt that you sense. And he says, what can I do for you?
Well, we need enough food and supplies to help 11 people for minimum of 2 days, hopefully more.
Very well. Are these big people, small people, well-fed people?
Small people who are accustomed to being hungry. However, I would like for them not to be hungry for some time.
Let's just consider them well-fed, so that we can get as much.
Yes, and anything that might be dried or preserved and would last for a decent amount of time would be helpful as well.
Is there a need for this food not to spoil? It sounds like perhaps it is meant to last.
I think a fresh meal or two, but the rest should last.
Very well. How many days would you like to feed them?
Well, I suppose that depends on the price. Given what Esmeralda has just presented, how many days, Esmeralda? Maybe as much as this will buy?
I think possibly 3 days would be enough.
Fair enough. I typically wolf steak is 1 electrum, and that comes with some additional vegetables and roots and some potatoes. Perhaps 11 wolf steaks will do. Very well. That is 1 hot meal. I perhaps can give you some porridge and some stew that Danica had cooked yesterday, but it's still fresh and good. And typically, if you're staying here, hot beet soup and fresh bread is free. But of course, if these people aren't, but you are wonderful people, so I would say, let me do some math. For 3 days and 11 people, I would say 5 gold, because you are great people.
That is a very fair price, Erwin. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Of
Might I
course.
also trouble you for some, maybe a bucket of water and some cloths?
Yes, of
These
course.
people could use some cleaning.
Yes, you can just grab a bucket, perhaps from the stable in the back.
Thank you.
And from the well.
Would you also happen to have any extra blankets that I may purchase from you as well?
But yes, of course, I will. I get the understanding that perhaps these people are down on their luck, as it were.
Yes.
I will donate blankets. I will give you 10 blankets.
And if I may, could I purchase any of the clothing that your children have outgrown? Anything that is no longer something they could wear?
Well, my children are still young.
Yes.
And the clothing that they had worn before, we have already donated to the less fortunate and to the orphans of Barovia. I don't have any extra clothing. I'm sorry.
That is perfectly fine. Thank you so much for your generosity.
Of course.
Thank you, Erwin.
Okay. It takes probably about the equivalent of about half an hour to gather all of the food and everything that you want. Is there anything that you want to do in that half an hour in the Blue Water Inn before you continue on? Okay.
While that's all being collected,
Yep.
Madam Eva is actually a seamstress, so
Yes.
I'm going to start working on some clothes for the kids.
For the kids.
You mean Helena? You said Eva.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant Helena.
Yes. You're going to start to, yeah. Okay, cool. I was like, oh, she is? That's news to me. Okay, good. So, all right. So in that time, you gather your things, you chat a little bit more, you get to know each other a bit better. And for the most part, you're feeling fairly confident and comfortable around each other. You gather the things and you start to cart it. He gives it to you in crates and in bags, and you start to cart it over to the stockyard. And you now stand out in front of the gates of the stockyard. And now it is the equivalent of kind of early to mid-afternoon.
Okay. So I guess I'll bring everything to the kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you hop, for the sake of brevity, you hop the fence, you make your way to the back, and you kind of start to push things through. And as you do, you notice with every crate, with every bag, their demeanor changes. That hope and joy that hasn't been there in the last, especially a couple days where they don't know where their friends are, is starting to come back. As you push through the last sack of food, the boy at the back has now come to the front, and they're all kind of searching through it and opening the crates and like holding things up and like smiling and laughing. And all of you can actually hear faint laughter near the back of the stockyard as you kind of wait for Sterling to come back. What do you do, Sterling?
Before I leave, I'll tell them,
when you see Esmeralda next, be sure to thank her. This is because of her generosity as well.
So
They kind of they nod.
Yeah, and I'll, if any of them are kind of like near the entrance, I'll point out the group and say they have all helped.
Well, so
we're
they're
all
not
going to try.
Yeah, sorry, because it snakes in like 30 feet.
Right.
They're not now. You'd have to ask them to come out if you want to.
Okay. I'll just hint that if they were to peek out at the fence, then they'll see all of the people that are going to try and help.
Yeah.
To, stop whatever this menace is.
Yeah. And at this point, the children are starting to like mow down on wolf steak, and they've got wolf steak juice kind of pouring down their chins, and they're laughing and they're smiling and they're throwing kind of trash at each other, and they're just, again, you've lifted the spirits significantly within this area.
Okay. And I'll relay that to everybody when I see them again to be able to talk to. So
as you come out, you end up hopping the fence again, and you're met with the rest of your group, and you can see over Sterling's shoulder that there are 5 or 6 kids at the mouth of their thing, and they're all kind of waving and doing kind of like thank yous as they kind of wave, and then they kind of laugh and they crawl into the hole and they disappear.
They're very happy. Thank you all.
It's the least we can do now. Absolutely. So, Sterling, did they say where exactly the kids disappeared?
They don't know exact locations of where the children disappeared, but they did tell me the route that they take when they do their scavenging. And Jay, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but they began their scavenging at the general store and then moved down a single street, right?
Yeah, they kind of spread out from there. There isn't really necessarily a known path. They're kids, so they basically follow their noses, and they kind of know and understand some houses and their usual sort of schedule of when they put out their trashes and stuff. So there isn't really a method to their madness. They just start at the general store and then spread out.
Okay. Okay. So I'll relay that to you guys.
I don't know if there's one central location that is best for an ambush. It seems that they spread out, which means they're likely alone when they are attacked, and they could be from anywhere in the town. But it might help if we find which households seem to be the most affluent, even though, living conditions as they are, those might be the ones that would be most likely to throw out scraps.
So are you saying we should split the party?
I'm saying maybe we make a gamble and hit, just stake out whichever house seems to be the most generous with their garbage.
Yeah, I would think that the general store might be too well known, and maybe perhaps somebody would have seen anything that would have happened should that have occurred there. So perhaps it would be further down the street a bit. And I think looking for the best places that might leave something behind to scavenge would be a safe bet.
Yes, maybe I should ask the kids which houses they frequent.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Okay. So I asked the kids, I go back, I ask the kids which houses are the most generous with their trash.
Yeah, and they kind of draw out kind of in the dirt floor a kind of crude map of the area, and you kind of think that you understand more or less where these houses exist. They're more often than not kind of let me just take a look here, kind of on the north end of town along the main road are kind of the more affluent, and then further from the main road they kind of get less affluent. So kind of surrounding the stockyard there are some fairly large houses that kind of sit in the southeast end of the town, just within the palisade.
So north of the main road.
South of the main road. So the stockyard's actually south of the main road. It's a large area. That's probably like 400 feet across the stockyard and about 400 feet wide, but it's a weird kind of odd shape. But surrounding the fence of the stockyard are some larger buildings and homes that exist kind of in the southeast of Vallaki.
Okay, so I'll commit this map to memory, and I'll draw it again for everybody outside.
Okay.
So that we can continue the discussion based on this knowledge.
Yep.
So they've said that here at the south end, these are the houses, the largest houses, and they tend to have the best scraps.
All right.
So perhaps,
Let's go digging.
yes. So I guess we go.
Okay. All right. Okay, so as you start to kind of circle, and you do basically the circle around the stockyard to these like larger sort of houses, what specifically are you guys looking for? And what are you trying to glean from your search right now?
I'm trying to find in these houses, if they're around the property, would there be easy places for somebody to hide and observe that area? Because likely, if anybody were to take those children, they'd be hiding.
Yeah, investigation check.
Oops. 14 plus dirty 20.
Nice. There are lots of areas to hide. In this area, the houses though are pretty spread apart. And yeah, so let me say this. In these houses, like anybody could kind of hide around the buildings and stuff, but they're not as choked in here as they are in the rest of the town. And so they would have to hide almost in plain sight. But in the dark, it's easier to hide, but it's not like there are really tight alleyways or areas or large bushes, trees, things like that. It would basically just be hiding in plain sight as best as they could in this area.
As we're walking around, do we see anybody else out, like outside of the homes or walking through the streets?
Yeah, perception check.
Yeah. That's an 8.
Yeah. With an 8, there aren't many people out right now. Again, they're all kind of tending to their homes. They're staying inside in case another attack hits. People are afraid. People are scared. They thought Vallaki was safe They thought that the walls and these festivals that the burgomaster says will stop Strahd and keep him away would, and now all of that has been dashed to the wayside. So it's pretty quiet. You see the odd person, but they kind of walk by quickly, but nobody you imagine is, or you feel is suspect or anything like that.
Are the roads dirt?
Yes. In Vallaki they are not. They are paved. What do you do?
All right. Well, looking around some of these houses, I'm just gonna try to find if there's any sign of struggle, anything that might show that somebody was attacked around any of these homes.
Survival check.
Am I able to aid him in that?
Yep.
Like, if these roads are paved, are there any foot tracks?
Yeah.
Leading
So I'd like
elsewhere?
I'd like whoever's leading this charge, and then I'd like so Esmeralda, Josh, and add your bonuses to Brandon. So we'll break you up into kind of two halves.
Yep.
And then if somebody from the other three want to also do some tracking, I think Tasha, you said you did, then you guys can add your survival bonuses to Tasha's roll, please.
I rolled a natural 1.
Okay.
You can add a 4 to that.
Yeah, you can add-
and a 6.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So with a 10, but with a natural 1, unfortunately, at this point, there was a lot of traffic through here in the last couple of days. People running, screaming, zombies shambling. At this point, it's really difficult to glean anything as far as tracks go. Tasha, how'd you do?
14.
Nice. Plus
Plus 6.
20.
And a +1.
+1, 21. With the 21, you do actually notice that at the base of the stockyard fence on the southeast end, you see a small little opening that is probably child-sized, and you can see that this fence kind of like has been bent in that area, and you do notice that there is a kind of a bit of a scrap of clothing that has snagged on one of the sharp parts of the fence and kind of been ripped off something. You also notice that you imagine there was a bit of a struggle surrounding that area of that hole through the fence, and that's what you notice.
Okay, I'm going to grab a hold of Nico's sleeve and kind of like tug on it and point.
Does it look like the struggle was them leaving or trying to get in away?
Yeah,
from
upon closer inspection, you do notice that there are human-sized footprints, and you notice at least 2 distinct sets of human-sized footprints and a child's footprints. And it seems like it was all quick, and they all converge on this space through the fence.
Looks like we have a start. Are the others with us? Is everybody with us? Or
You can easily call them over. They're kind of searching another area. You hail them, and you guys all come together.
is there
What does it
anything?
have there?
Go ahead.
What did
Sorry.
you find?
Oh, my dear sister here seems to have found a scuffle. These human-sized boot prints. Perhaps these are where we should follow.
Nicely done, Apollonia.
Yes.
This is a good start, that is for sure. Do you mind if I look at that cloth scrap as well?
Yep, so you grab it and you pick it up. It's still hanging from the thing, and you kind of pull it off the sharp kind of bird area of the fence.
Yeah, so I don't know if there is any more information I can glean from it, but
Yeah.
With my Weaver tool proficiency, I have expertise for history and arcana checks and investigation checks involving like cloth and that
Okay.
kind of thing.
So you can apply that to an investigation check.
Yeah. So that would be unnatural 20.
Unnatural 20. With an unnatural 20, you can tell that it's absolutely children's clothing, just in the make and fit, and kind of where one of the seams sort of connects. But that's pretty much all you get. You do get that it is soiled, quite dirty, hasn't been washed in some time. So you imagine that it does belong to a child that was potentially one of the homeless children. And you imagine too that it occurred during the struggle. That this wasn't just here before during the struggle. That this all occurred kind of in the same time. That's what you all put together.
A mad dash. Yeah.
Oh, based on this, Misericordia, with your skills, you talked about, some sort of natural animalistic abilities. Is there any way you might be able to follow a scent?
Yes. Hold on.
This cloth looks quite dirty and unwashed. I'm sure it has a strong enough scent that you might be able to follow.
I'm sorry, I'm new at this.
That's okay.
No, it's all good.
New to druids. I know there's a spell.
Are you trying to use one of your kind of? Are you trying to shift and then use one of your abilities?
Yes. I was going to probably wild shape.
Yeah. What would you like to wild shape into?
I was trying to think. I had a few things.
Yeah.
Trying to look it up. Sorry.
No problem. Not at all.
It's okay.
While she looks that up, is there anything that you got? Anything else anybody wants to do? Yep. Go ahead, James.
I was thinking, is there anything discernible from the boot prints? Any specific? Are they just regular boots, or is there something special about them?
Give me a survival check on your own, please.
Well, that's not cool. +1, so that's a 6.
Okay, the 6. No, you do see what everyone else saw, which was there was a struggle, and you do see very clearly the 2 adult prints and the children's prints that were pointed out before, but you don't glean anything extra. Okay, sorry, Mercy, what was that?
So he is going to wild shape into. I had them saved and I can't find them. Just the basic wolf.
Okay, so all of a sudden her shape begins to shift, and what used to be material and metal and skin turns into fur as she contorts and turns into a wolf ahead of you and starts to sniff the air.
Wow. That's amazing.
Also a little troubling.
I know.
Has anyone seen this before? It's incredible.
As a wolf, you have keen hearing and smell, so you have advantage on perception checks. So I'd like you to roll a perception check. And what are you trying to glean right now?
I think I'm just trying to see if I can follow the scent from the cloth on and see if I can find out which way the child and the person might have went.
Very good. I like it.
Okay. And you said with advantage,
yeah.
Sorry. Can do the on scene. You know there's a way to do that on D&D Beyond.
While this is happening with my, I don't really like wolves that much. I haven't had good experiences, so I'm going to be like closely behind Apollonia. Just
Yep.
But trying to act cool about it.
Yep.
I roll an insight check to see if she's acting cool about it.
You can tell.
D&D Beyond is just as bad as my dice. I only got a 10.
Okay.
And that's with advantage.
Okay, so with the 10 with advantage, you sniff the air, and because it was a day ago, you're having a hard time kind of placing a scent. You do notice, though, that it appears to go south towards the wall of Valaki. There's people talking in the streets. That's all that is.
I'm like, what is that?
Just creepy
That's Brandon's voices
Just
in our Sirenscape. No, it's part of the it's all part of our sound set. It's so funny. You could just hear voices coming from the surrounding houses. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
All right. As you so you can tell that actually the scent is kind of emanating from the south. That's all you know. But it's very faint.
Well, I'm gonna. Should I stay in wolf form? I'm gonna stay in wolf form and just start heading south. Try to get everybody's attention, but I can't say anything. So
You have our attention.
Yeah, you see her look back. She starts to wag her tail, and then she bounds off between two of the houses as she follows the scent. And I'm assuming you all follow.
Yeah.
The scent lead. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, as we go running, is it like windy out at all? Or is it like a calm day?
It's calm.
Calm. Okay.
Yeah. No, there's not much of a breeze. A slight breeze, but not much. And you do know that the palisade that surrounds Valaki kind of stops that wind a bit, and you're right at the base. You come to the base of the palisade, and the palisade, I think it reaches like 20 feet in the air, and it is made of thick kind of tree trunks that are sharpened at basically into spikes at the top. And you come to an area where kind of the smell kind of stops. And with the decent survival checks that you made earlier, you notice that the tracks kind of lead to this area and then stop.
Are there catwalks or watchtowers or anything?
No, there aren't on this side. It is just a palisade.
Do we see like muddy footprints going up the side or anything?
Yeah, so if you want to give me another survival check and I can let you know, you do see in the distance though that there is a gate. The south gate is to the west, and then of course the east gate is all the way to the right. But there is a tower kind of in the midpoint, probably about say 50 to 75 feet to your left from the spot that you are. So this seems like it's right in between the gate and the tower specifically.
So I got a 12.
Yeah, with a 12, you actually notice that there are very visible claw marks on two of the tree trunks that extend into the sky.
I'll point that out to the group. And as high alert as Valaki has been the past couple of days, it's surprising no one saw this. But it looks as if this thing might have just climbed right out and out.
There were both prints earlier, though. Perhaps it can be both man and beast.
Oh, great.
I hope you all brought something silver.
Nope.
When he says that, I take out my silvered short sword.
I take out a silver coin.
I pat Sterling on the shoulder. You're doing great, champ.
Put the coin away.
That's great. Okay, what do you do?
I imagine we'll have to continue our search from the other side of this palisade. Are we going up and over like them, or should we take the gate?
I will take the gate.
Yeah. What do you think, Sterling?
Well, I'm wondering if we go around to the other side, how will we know where this point is? If I stay here and I tap against the palisade, then you guys can find the sound. And once you have found it, tap back, and I'll walk around to meet you on the other side. Then we'll know we're at the right place.
How tall is the palisade?
Yeah, sorry. So I'm going to retcon the palisade a little bit. It's 15 feet. Its vertical logs are held together with thick rope and mortar, and the top of each log is sharpened to a point. There is wooden scaffolding on the inside 12 feet up that allows guards to look over the side. And you imagine that guards are on decently high alert at this point after what's happened in the last little while. But you do not see that there are any guards doing any sort of rounds right now on the scaffolding.
Well, if,
I'm going.
Sorry.
Okay, I'm gonna grab my 50-foot length of rope out of my bag and kind of hold on to one end and then take the other end and chuck it over the other side.
Yeah, and you do that fairly easily. It's only 15 feet. And so you have 10 feet of rope on either side once you've kind of tossed it over.
Okay. And then after that, I'm going to slowly start wandering towards the gate.
Okay.
Could I actually, if somebody could just lift me about 5 feet, and then I can just hop over if you want.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, Sterling just kind of like picks you up and lifts you.
As he does so, I'm going to cast Mage Armor on myself,
Okay.
and with Tempestuous Magic, as a bonus action, you can cause gusts of air to surround you before or after you cast a spell of first level or higher that allows you to fly up to 10 feet without provoking opportunity attacks. So I will then just fly over the palisade.
Oh, wow. Okay. Are you trying to do this stealthily or kind of matter of fact?
Yeah, like one quick kind of whoop and over.
Okay, just give me a stealth check. Actually, if you all give me a stealth check, as I'm assuming you're trying to not get the attention of the guards.
So that's a 15 for me.
Okay. Anybody under a 10?
8.
Okay. All right. So you go over no problem, and you end up landing on the other side. And as soon as you do that, you see that there is, you notice that to the west or right of you is the South Road, and a little kind of trail that leads off. It's not the main road. The Spholic Road leads straight through Vallaki in one side out the other. But you do see that the woods are more or less 400 feet ahead of you. There's kind of the wall of the Spholic Woods, and they surround Vallaki to the south.
Well, there's a lot of trees, but get here quick.
Okay, so do you all go around to the gate side?
Do you see any guards?
I look around. Do I see any guards?
You see the silhouette of a guard in each tower to the left and right, but it seems like they haven't quite taken notice.
No, they're all busy. Don't worry.
I think I just want to climb right up.
Okay. Okay, give me an athletics check, please.
Oh.
I will also grab the other side of the rope and anchor it.
Okay.
14?
Okay, with a 14, there is a rope. So you manage to get over fairly easily and then down the other side. And I'm assuming you get to the top and somebody holds the rope on the other side.
Yeah.
You guys kind of hold it and then you get over. Do you all do this?
Well, go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
I'm still in wolf form, so I'm just gonna be like wagging my tail, pretending to be a dog, and just walk to the gate.
Okay, all right. Pretending to give me a performance check.
Go wrong.
And you're following Tasha.
I'm gonna get a shot. Yes, I'm following.
And you're just kind of like doop 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 doo as a wolf.
A 15.
Okay. With a 15, you definitely feel like a dog, but you still look like a wolf.
Yeah.
But you are managing to kind of like stay beside Tasha, so hopefully nobody notices that there's a wolf in the walls. As you kind of get to the gate, you see that there are two guards, Vallaki guards, on either side of it, and they kind of hail you and they nod, and we're gonna see if they. And they don't take notice, as it seems as if, they take notice of this, heavily armed adventurer who is kind of approaching the gates. But they kind of watch you as you go through. They don't stop you. You're already in the town, so there really isn't any reason for them to stop you as you kind of go through. And Mercy ends up kind of like circling in behind you and covers her escape. You all come out, and then you start making your way back. Who else is going over the wall? Who's next?
I was going to climb over.
Okay.
I went to the gate.
Okay, so you follow slowly behind, not slowly behind, but just behind James, and you cross the gate maybe 30 seconds after the rest of them. Sterling, you managed to give me an athletics check. That's fine.
I did an 18 on my
18, you're fine. Yeah,
rolled.
you're good. You get over. You all meet on the other side, and now you are on the other side of the Vallaki Palisade.
Right. I'm going to gather my rope.
Good idea.
Good. All right. I'm assuming at this point you guys want to see if you can continue the track. Yeah. Is that right? Okay. Probably led by Mercy as your wolf form. Can you give me another perception check, please, and apply your advantage to that?
Our guide wolf.
Dirty 20.
All right. Nice. With a dirty 20, you pick up the scent actually quite easily. And on this side of the wall, for some reason, it's a lot stronger than it was inside the wall. and you pick up two things. You pick up the scent of the clothing. So the same scent that was on the clothing, you absolutely pick that up. But it's faint. You pick up the strong musk of men in this area on the wall, but also wolf as well in this area, and it heads out towards the woods.
Has the wind picked up since going over the wall of the Loki?
Just slightly.
Slightly? Okay.
At some point during this walk, realizing this, I kind of like loudly stage whisper to Sterling, Sterling, I really hope you and I don't smell like wolf steak right now.
That's a good point.
We might offend multiple things at once.
I didn't wash my hands.
Neither did I.
So I kind of wipe my hands in the dirt.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, can I prestidigitation us?
Yeah.
Just
Yes,
be like,
you can.
pew, 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 pew.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take out their hand.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm gonna prestidigitate their hands to smell like wolf steaks again.
But I didn't realize it.
Didn't
so
work.
I'm like, why did it not work?
Yeah. You notice her doing this, but you're not absolutely sure what she's prestidigitating. But okay, so you all gather, and do you follow the trail? Okay, so you all start to follow the trail. I'd like a marching order for you, please.
I'll stay up close to the front as a gigantic shield.
Okay.
As will I.
But as long as allowing Misericordia to continue to lead, I suppose.
Okay, so the wolf leads, Sterling and Apollonia shortly behind. How far behind do you want to be from the wolf?
I want to be close enough that if anything attacks it, I can hit it. So I guess within 5 feet, maybe right behind.
Okay, right behind. All right. The rest of you?
I'll be right behind them.
Okay.
With my silver short sword out.
Okay.
I'll go with Esmeralda.
Okay.
I'll be in the back.
Okay. All right. Okay. You make your way to the woods, and you, after a short time, enter the Spholic Woods. And at that point, we're going to take a short break. As it is well beyond halfway, but we started a little late, so we're probably going to go a little late. But hope everyone has enjoyed what you've seen before, up to this point, not before. Well, actually, before this point. But make sure that you follow the link in the Twitch window in order to support what we are doing today. Of course, this is for Jasper's Game Day, a cause that is incredibly close to RealmSmith's heart. And you have been enjoying the Into the Mist one-shot, which is taking place between Season 1 and Season 2 of Into the Mist. If you're interested in checking that out, you can do that live on Monday nights at 7 p.m. on twitch.tv/RealmSmith and twitch.tv/D&D. And twitch.tv/Beetle and Grims. It is on all those platforms. And you can also check out all previous seasons and episodes, including our Tides of Wildmount campaign on youtube.com/RealmSmith. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Maybe we'll be back in like 5 minutes, guys. Is that okay? Cool. So about 5 after 2 Eastern, we will be back. We'll see you guys in 5. Hey everyone, welcome back. We are back from our short break, and we are following our adventures into the Svalek Woods as they are on the hot trail of what sounds like potential kidnappers who have been taking children from Falaki. In this case, children who are down on the luck and currently homeless. Mercy is leading the charge. We have a marching order. You start to kind of head into the woods, and as soon as you hit the woods, there is a cold dampness that kind of surrounds you. And you know from your time in Barovia that there always feels like there's something just slightly around the corner. The mist always changes slightly. The hair on your neck kind of stands up on end kind of as a regular occurrence here in Barovia in a number of different sort of scenarios. And for a number of different reasons. As you kind of head into the woods, you head in for maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes. And at this point, you do notice that there is muddy ground kind of on the trail as you're heading. And you stop and you start to sniff, Mercy, and you notice that the trail absolutely continues from here. But at this point, because it's kind of just a muddy area with water that has sort of gathered, you distinctly see 2 sets of human footprints, no children's prints, and at this point you only smell human smell and the smell from the rag that was stuck on the edge of the fence. What do you all do? Do you proceed forward?
Yeah, I think we'll keep going.
I'm gonna come out of wild shape and tell everybody what you just said about, the scents and how some of them seem to be missing now.
Yep.
So
Perhaps we should be more weird as we press forward.
As she's smelling the trail, can we still see any tracks, physical tracks?
Yeah, so you see those physical tracks in this kind of muddy area, and then they kind of get more obscure as you go, almost where they cross the path. And you can see that there's a path that leads left, kind of west and east, and you're heading directly south. And the prints become very apparent on this muddy path and then continue on into the woods off path.
There's still just one pair of human boot prints?
Two pair of human boot prints, and that's it.
Okay. Not the children, though, just the adult.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. You continue south a ways further, and you are you folks stealthing at this point? What's your kind of approach?
That was what I was kind of saying about being weird. Yeah.
So if everybody could make a stealth check, that'd be great.
Ooh.
I get disadvantage on those.
26.
Okay.
With my disadvantage, a natural 1.
Oh dear.
It was a 15 otherwise.
Yeah. Okay. So anybody below a 10, raise your hand, please.
I got an 8 again.
Okay. Are you still continuing on your projected route in your in the marching order that you guys mentioned, more or less?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Siri, do you want to?
I kind of step back behind Sterling, actually, but other than that, I'm good.
Okay, fair enough. So you kind of take your place behind Sterling instead of at the head of the party, which makes sense. After some time, and a couple of you notice that Sterling isn't great at sulking through woods. And there's twigs that are breaking under his weight, and he's scraping across trees, and he's just large and kind of clunky and metallic, and so it's not quite going the way that he had hoped, and making quite a ruckus. Yeah. After some time, you notice that the woods open up into a clearing, and it basically borders what appears to be an old, dilapidated farmhouse. Caved in on one side, large kind of hole that has basically, over time, the weight of rain and dew and wind has caved that corner of the house in, and it is neighbored by a kind of medium-sized barn that again is missing a bunch of boards, and it looks like a abandoned, dilapidated farm. No crops, weeds overgrown in areas, and that's what you see in the middle of this clearing.
You guys see this?
And yeah, it's right in front of us.
Good point. How should we approach? What are your thoughts, Nico? I know you're a strategist.
Well, I say we do not split. Maybe just check the barn first in the outskirts and work our way in.
Yes. What are your thoughts, everyone? It's a good way to go.
I agree on not splitting up.
That would certainly be our own folly. But with that being said, if we are going to sneak up on something, well, Sterling, my friend, you may need to be a little bit more quiet.
Yeah, quit clomping around in the mud.
What are you talking about? I've been really good at this.
Doesn't have ears, does he?
No, well, I mean, they're not shaped like yours, but I can pick up sound. I'm hearing you.
Okay, fair enough.
You're doing great, buddy.
What's the plan?
Maybe Nico, being a sneaky one, should lead the way.
I could certainly try. Do we see if the footprints go any direction towards the house or barn?
Survival check at this point. Now that you guys have kind of opened up into a different area.
8 for me.
At this point, because it turns into like thick grass that goes into this opening, you see that basically the footprints just open into this field or big clearing, and they disappear.
Well, I guess I will sneak ahead, and if you hear me screaming, come running.
Stealth check.
Do you want me to accompany you?
I wouldn't say no.
All right, I will join.
Both stealth checks, please.
That is a natural 20.
Nice.
Nicely done.
So
Mine
25.
is 17.
Okay. Natural 20 and 17. You guys start into the clearing, and there's, like I said, the barn's on the right, and it's probably about 50 to 100 feet separated from the farmhouse, which is also, and there's like a shed in the back and an outhouse and things like that. But those are the two main buildings. Which way do you head towards?
I think the barn first.
As you head towards the barn doors face you. One is completely off its hinges and basically in a pile of broken lumber in front of the barn. The other one is closed, so you have basically the opening of there, and it's just basically darkness inside. You're now in the clearing, and you're kind of moving from like shrub to shrub, little tree to tree, trying to stay really low to the ground, and you are now basically about 50 feet from the barn.
I will pull out a small copper wire and whisper into it while pointing at Nico and say, do you want to get closer? And any chance you can see in the dark?
I respond, yes, I am half-elf. I can see in the dark. Let's get closer.
Okay, you guys close another 20, 30 feet, and you are now about 15 to 20 feet from the entrance. You look inside, and it looks like a fairly open, vacant barn. But from inside the barn, you hear, "Who goes there?"
A freeze.
I will step into the doorway.
Okay, so you basically just stand up naturally and then step into the doorway?
Yeah.
Okay. As you come into the doorway, you look into this dark barn, not having night vision or dark vision. There's just basically shafts of overcast light, which is typical in Barovia. There are shadows all over this barn. So you're having a bit of a hard time kind of discerning what is going on. Can you give me a perception check, please?
Yep. That is a 10.
Okay. With a 10, you step into the doorway. You don't hear anything, but you hear a slight creak occur, and it is clear that there is somebody, though you can't see them, to the left and by kind of the left wall of this barn. And this barn's about 50 by 100 feet sort of situation.
Okay. So behind
it's just stacked with bales of moldy hay, and you get this like really thick musty smell as you get here, as if this barn has been disused for a long time.
Okay. So as I step into the doorway, I will first say, "Hello, my name is Madam Helena. I am one of the Vistani." And then at the same time, with my hand behind my back, I'll flash the number sign for 2, thumb directly in front of me, and then also point to my left.
You get that message, James, and the voice from the darkness says, "Why have you come?"
Well, you see, the Vistani, we travel everywhere. It's not that common that you find places abandoned and in disrepair. Well, I suppose it is in Barovia, but not without goods to be had.
You have come to sell?
Well, of course, I am a Vistani. I am made to trade.
Have you come alone?
It sure looks like it.
Give me a deception check.
Okay. That is an unnatural 20.
Okay. You hear, "Here as you speak the truth. Come, closer. Show me what you have."
Certainly. And I'll start like reaching into my robe, and I will cast message again, but pointing towards the rest of the group.
Yeah.
And I'll say, "There are 2 of them inside, and well, they have invited me, and you should come join us."
Sorry. So that noise you heard was from the first person. So there's only one you know of. At this point. Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, so I'll tell them that.
What's the range on message?
120 feet.
So it catches all of you. You hear this come over the wind. What do the rest of you do? Anything?
So you said that we should come?
Yes.
Okay, then maybe we should continue forward.
Okay, you have all. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I will slowly creep up to the side of the barn and maybe see if there's another way in, like through a busted out panel or anything.
Okay, which side do you go to? Do you go to the side that Josh indicated the voice was coming from, or
Yes,
do the other side?
The left side, I believe.
Okay, so you start to kind of sneak around to that side, and with your rolls, I'm going to allow you not to make another one. And yeah, there's absolutely large sections of boards missing that you could absolutely slip through if you wanted to. And as you kind of come around, you do notice. Actually, give me a perception check on that.
Sure. Got a +3, so that's a 21.
Wow. With a 21, you come to a point where you know the voice is coming on the other side of this. And there's like a 3 to 4 foot gap in the wall of this barn, maybe 10 feet from where this person is on the other side of.
Okay. I will draw my sword and just kind of hang out and wait.
Okay.
I'm going to cast invisibility on myself.
Okay. Good. Are the rest of you approaching?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I get stealth checks from all of you, please?
Me as well, or?
With advantage.
I rolled a nat 20 on that.
Okay.
I wish it would have been for something else I was doing to help me out, but all good.
I got a 17 with my disadvantage.
Okay.
I got 14.
14.
18.
18. Wow. Nice rolls. You all start into the clearing. And Sterling, it appears, though, now that you know that there might be danger ahead, your Warforged abilities kind of come into play, and you feel kind of the sinew between your plates kind of tighten up, and you all of a sudden have a bit more control over what you're doing as you approach.
Yeah. So I'll say that my eyes are going a little bit purple instead of blue at this point.
Yeah. So it's nice. And so he goes, so the voice goes, please, closer. Show me what you have.
Yes, of course. You know, I am a weaver. Some say of words, others of tapestries and whatnot. I have many things you might be interested in. Do you go through clothes like everybody else in Barovia? Because man, is it ever dirty, right?
Well, of course, you have tapestries on your person.
Well, you know, this time we carry a lot of weird things. Some people seem to say anyways. And I'll just start like shelling out like cloth and tapestries and like unfurling them and kind of rolling them and making like a big audacious scene of it to really keep him like enraptured.
Okay. All right. And you get the sense, you absolutely get the sense that he can see what you're doing. The rest of you make your way, and you're now 10 to 15 feet from the edge of the barn. You've all managed to sneak up, and you are standing now just outside of where that is. What do you do at this point?
I want to check to see if there's anybody else hiding.
Okay, perception check.
Real quick, does this barn have a loft?
It does, but it has, for the most part,
Collapsed.
it's been collapsed. So there's just like beams.
22.
22. With a 22, you don't see anybody around the barn specifically, but you hear kind of a bit of a muster from the farmhouse area. So at about 50 feet away, you hear like a slight crack of something, but you don't necessarily know what it is. But you know that there's something happening over at the farmhouse as well.
Okay.
What do the rest of you do?
I'm going to go around the right side of the barn.
Okay. You start to make your way over along the right side. You don't see Nikolai, right?
Nico.
You don't see Nico at all at this point, but you do make your way to the right around the barn. You do see Madame Helena basically just inside the doorway. You've got dark vision, right? Half orc? Yeah. So you see her, and she's just pulling out a bunch of stuff. You can't see at this angle, though, deep into the barn to see who she's kind of showing things to at this stage. But you start to make your way around the right. How far do you want to go around the side of the barn?
How big is the barn?
It's about 50 by 100 feet. So you could get to like 3/4 of the way down the barn on the right side if you wanted to with a double movement, with a dash.
Sure.
Okay. So you almost make your way around to the back. You have another maybe third of the barn before you do. Mercy?
I was hoping to just maybe stay near the door, but hidden, like just in case.
Okay, so you kind of step up to the door, you turn around, put your back to the door almost, and you kind of crouch and you hide.
Yeah.
Okay, Esmeralda?
Seeing as there is nothing that I immediately see, but at the same time, I don't want to break my invisibility, and I want to actually make my way to the farmhouse.
Okay, so you break your invisibility and you go on your own to the farmhouse.
No, I don't want to break my invisibility.
Oh, you don't want to break it. Okay, so you just decided to turn and you start to go, okay?
Yeah.
So in the double movement, you get to, I'd say, within about 30 feet of that farmhouse.
Okay.
As you approach it, like I said, it seems like part of the roof has completely caved in. But through one of the windows, now at this distance, you do see that there's candlelight. Dim candlelight through one of the front windows.
Okay.
And the door is in the front, on the front facing of the direction that you're coming from.
Okay.
Okay. Madam Helena, the voice kind of chuckles as you pull things out and says, I don't have any of my coin with me. Perhaps you would follow me to the house.
Oh, but of course. Is your family home? Do you have any kids?
Yes, I have a wife. She's with me in the home.
Oh, wonderful. I look forward to meeting her.
Very good. Just follow me. And he heads out he walks 10 feet to the right, and then and you see his silhouette duck out of the doorway, or sorry, that opening that you are pretty much right beside Nico. As he sulks out, and as he steps through, you see that he is a burly, about 5.5 to 6 foot male, really scruffy kind of sideburns that kind of come to a longer sort of beard. Not well dressed, but not poorly dressed either. And he kind of steps out and continues to walk with this kind of wild salt and pepper hair as he kind of passes you and starts walking towards the house. You heard all of this. You heard him say that he was going to go, and obviously, Helena, you would either have to back out of the barn and then come around the side, or you can follow him through that space.
I'll back out of the barn and come around the side and kind of nod to Siri as I go past her.
Okay, so you nod around and you start to follow. And at this point now, because you've had to go a different distance, he's about 30 feet in front of you as he's kind of walking towards the thing. And it seems like he's walking at a fairly decent, direct pace. At this point, Esmeralda, you see that this person has come out of the barn, and you see Helena kind of curl around the corner and start to kind of go in that direction. The man yells out, "My love, the Vistani have come. They have things for sale." There's no answer from inside the house, but the candlelight goes out. What do you do, Esmeralda?
I'm waiting to see if anybody. I want to try to sneak into the house, but not in such a way where anybody outside might see what I'm doing. So I don't know.
You want to sneak inside the house? You said? Okay.
Yeah.
So at this point, the only door is the front door. You know that if you approach the door, even though you're invisible, if you open it, there's a chance that the person who is now either inside or the person approaching, but you could either go around the back or try and get in through the roof. It's up to you.
Probably not going to do the roof. I'm going to go around back. Has it been a minute though? Because those spells only a minute. I think the spell.
No, it hasn't. We're still moving in 6-minute turns. So you're probably about 30 seconds into a minute.
Okay. I would like to try to sneak around back.
Okay. So you come around back. That's going to put another. You're dashing to get around back?
Yeah.
So at that point, you've got, I'd say another 20 seconds left or so of your invisibility. Okay.
Isn't invisibility an hour?
It's
greater. It's greater invisibility.
It's greater invisibility. Yeah. So it's just done.
So as you come around the corner of the house, and you can see that the windows are broken in some areas. It's very dark in there. You can't really make out a lot of what's going on. You come around the corner and you do see that there's a single back door that has actually come off its hinges, and it's just an open doorway.
Oh.
As you come around the corner. Okay. Tasha, what are you doing at this point? You've heard all of this, and you can, as you're kind of walking by, you can see kind of the silhouettes moving, and you can see that Helena has left, and now this gentleman has left.
Okay. But you had said that there was actually 2 people in the barn, but Madam Helena had only seen 1?
No, Madam Helena thought there was 2, but there was only 1.
Oh, okay. So can I see anything as I've kind of gone around, like anything else other than the 2 of them?
Perception check.
That's a nat 20.
Oh, I will tell you right now that the thing that is hiding in the barn also rolled a nat 20. Meets it, beats it. So you now hear almost completely unintelligible. But as you cross one kind of open area within the barn wall, you hear a like this deep breathing from just on the other side, from amongst the hay. And you hear the hay begin to move and to displace as something is getting up out of the hay. And this thing is large. Mercy?
I'm at the door. Do I see whatever
Perception
it is
check.
that's making that noise? Okay. Mm. 10.
10. No, you don't. You did see, all you see is basically what was evident. And you hear this gentleman yell honey, we have Vistani here to sell their wares. But other than that, nothing else of note. What do you do?
Oh, I don't know. This is gonna be dumb. I step in front of the door and look into the barn.
Yeah.
And I just walk maybe a few feet in the barn.
Yep.
And that's all I'm going to do.
Okay, and do you have dark vision?
I do. I'm a half elf, so I
Okay.
do have dark vision.
Okay. Give me a, so your perception check was 10?
Yeah.
Yeah, at this point, as soon as you kind of turn the corner into the barn, you see that in one of the basically halfway up, maybe 3/4 of the way up the barn inside out of the hay, rises this massive furry quadruped creature, looking very clearly wolf in shape, but way too big to be a normal wolf. And as it kind of rises, it sees you enter the barn, and you hear as it begins to snarl as you come in. James, I'm going to allow you to make a turn as he kind of passes you. What do you do?
I was going to actually, as he passes, I was going to go into the barn and see what he was doing in there.
Okay.
Not knowing that
so
this...
Yeah. Okay, if you can give me another stealth check real quick, sure. As you've kind of stopped, you hid, and now you're starting to move again.
So 15.
Okay. With the 15, no problem, kind of you duck into, you kind of walk along the side, you carefully duck in, and as you turn in, you see Mercy's character just walk into the front of the barn. You see this furry creature rise up out of the hay, and at this point, I'd like you all to roll initiative. Sorry, one sec. 20 to 25.
I have a 20.
Wait a minute.
I'm going to do initiative the old school way here because the combat tracker is not working. Helena got a what, sorry?
20.
20. Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay. 15 to 20. Nope.
Oh, guys.
That's probably not great for you guys.
We were all rolling so well up until now.
Yeah. Yeah, those stealth checks were great. 10 to 15.
12.
Tasha?
A 13.
12, 13. Anybody else? Oh, gosh.
I get a 10.
Tasha, Mercy, Sterling. 5 to 10.
6.
8.
And Esmeralda and Nico. We are going to go over the 3 o'clock time frame, just so y'all know if that's okay for you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. This is when I pull Sirenscape up and we go to the really awesome battle music, which isn't loading right now. So just give me a minute here. Okay. Madam Helena, you're up. What do you do?
Do I hear what's going on in the barn behind me?
No, you don't.
Okay, then
you're about at this point you're about 30 feet from that barn, and this is all happening in the back corner of the barn. So no.
Yeah, so I would just continue to walk forwards towards the house.
Okay, continue to walk forwards towards the house. Okay, so you follow behind you. You make another 30 feet as you follow this creature, this man. The large wolf leans back on its hind legs and then surges forward at you as it charges you in the doorway. What is your armor class, Mercy?
14.
With a natural 1, it starts to like it's galloping towards you, and this massive creature, as you kind of bear back and prepare, it slips on some of the loose hay and kind of barrel rolls and trips and kind of turns on basically head over heel, tumbling in front of you, and is now prone, I'd say about 10 to 20 feet in front of you. The character that you're following, Madam Helena, dips into the house, into the darkness, and disappears into the house at this point. Tasha, you're up. Mercy, you're on deck. Go ahead.
I'll say, is there a gap in the barn board that I could slip through?
Yeah. There's gaps you'd have to probably walk 5 feet up towards the front again to be able to slip through one of those gaps. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'll do.
Yeah, and you heard this. You heard and saw this massive creature charge Mercy. You come around 5 feet of your movement. You slip into the barn. You are now inside the barn. You have 20 feet of movement, at which point you would be able to reach the dire wolf, so you guys know, that is now prone 10 feet in front of Mercy.
Okay. I'll walk up to it.
Yep.
And then as I'm kind of walking up, I'll draw my 2 short swords as well.
Okay. And you make it in enough space in your movement to be able to now have an action. So you can attack if you like.
Okay. I will do that.
That's Sirenscape.
Yeah, because it comes with it.
Yeah.
My first one would be a 13 to hit.
Okay.
And the second one is a 16 to hit.
The 13 does not. You swing, and as it's kind of tumbling and starting to kind of scatter, you come to swing and you go wide and you miss with the first one. The second one comes back and it makes purchase.
That's 7 points of damage.
7. Okay. As it digs deep into the hide of this dire wolf, it yelps as it takes your short sword in its side. Mercy, you're up. Sterling, you're on deck.
Okay. I'm just going, seeing as Siri does not have a good relationship with dire wolves, she's just going to go up and try to hit it with Shillelagh.
Okay.
Cast Shillelagh on her. That's
You
a
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
It's a 19 to hit.
Awesome. That is a hit. As you imbue your staff, is it a staff?
Yes, it's a quarterstaff. Yeah.
Yeah. As you imbue your quarterstaff with magical nature energy, you race forward and you manage to make purchase with it. Go ahead. How much damage?
4 damage.
4 damage.
Yeah.
Very good. As you hear, as you smack it in its side, and it yelps again on its side. Sterling, you're up. I don't know if I allowed you to have a turn last time, did I? Brandon, and everybody else did?
This is the first round.
No.
No, but yeah. So in the midst of what happened before we went, is there anything you wanted to do?
Seeing Apollonia going around the right side of the barn, I would have been continuing around the left, looking for a gap big enough for me to be able to sneak through to potentially surround if there's anything in there.
Okay, so as you were coming, well, we'll go back a little bit. As you were coming around the corner, you saw the man come out of the barn, and so you would have kind of stopped in beside Mercy, and obviously Madame Helena kept going, following you. You saw Sterling kind of back up against the barn wall. What do you do at this point? Now it's your first round of initiative.
Yeah, so now that all this has gone down, I'm going to join the fray. So I'm moving in. Would I be able to have enough movement to get to the creature, the direwolf?
Yes, because it's right inside the entrance. You hear everything that happens. You hear the snarls. You hear all of the action that happens. You kind of turn around into the kind of opening of the barn, and you see the you see what's happening in front of you. What do you do?
All right, so I go in and go big Sterling, so eyes turn red and, like Transformer. And yes, nice. And I'm gonna drop my sword right on top of its prone.
Okay. You charge it, and then that's advantage on it, because I should have told you guys hit it anyways. It's advantage on that strike. So actually, Tasha, I'm going to give you a reroll on that first, because it is prone.
Okay. So that's a 24.
Okay.
That one is silvered.
Okay, that one's silvered, and it would have hit. So again, it slices through. Doesn't seem to do any more damage than your regular sword did, but just give me the damage on that, and we'll just retcon that damage. 8. Very nice. And this is starting to get quite bloody, this direwolf, as you guys are basically hacking into it as it's on its back, or on its side rather, on the ground. Sterling, go ahead.
That's a 16 to hit, 10
That's
points of damage, including the plus 1d6 from my big Sterling.
Okay. As you come down, you bear your sword into its side, and you hear the crushing of ribs as the strike hits, and it starts to yelp, and blood starts to pour from its mouth, but it is still alive.
All right,
Esmeralda, you're up. Nico, you're on deck.
I'll say, stay down.
Sorry.
No problem.
Sneaking into the house now, what do I see?
Yeah. Give me a stealth check with advantage.
Okay, good thing I had that advantage. 26.
The 26, you sneak into the house invisible, and you know that your visibility is about to drop. In fact, this is the last turn that you have still up. You come inside, and you're standing inside, and you see that you're in a bit of a kind of what used to be a bit of a kitchen. There's a wood-burning stove in the corner that hasn't really seemed to have been used recently. There's some counters with some scattered things, but like rotten wood, and it's just a dilapidated kitchen area that has a doorway leading further out into an open area that you can't see any action in. But you do hear creaking of footsteps in that other room, and hushed voices.
I am going to very stealthily try to sneak my way towards that sound.
Okay, I'm going to allow you to continue using your stealth check. In order to do that, can you give me a perception check, though, please?
Sure. 17.
Okay, with a 17, you hear hushed voices, and it sounds like they're planning an ambush for whatever character is following them.
Meaning me?
No, the person who is following them, which is Madame Helena, but you don't know. No, you wouldn't know that Madame Helena is following. But they're basically, like, as you come around the corner, you see them standing on either side of the door. There's a human male. It's dark, so you just see two silhouettes.
Okay, but can I tell how far they are from where I am?
They're about 30 feet from you, so you couldn't get to them in this turn.
Okay.
And attack.
Right.
But you do still have an action.
I think I'm still gonna hold my action until I see them attack, and I'll probably have a spell ready.
Okay, all right. Well, do you want to hold an action then?
Yeah, I would like to hold.
What do you want to hold?
I will hold a firebolt.
Okay. All right. And what's the trigger?
If I see any sort of like attack towards anything coming through that front door,
yeah,
I'm gonna hit him with it.
Okay, I like it. All right, Nico, you're up.
Okay. In the barn, I'll rush up to the wolf and poke him with the pointy end.
Okay. You slip in and you rush towards it. Go ahead.
He's still prone, yes?
Yes.
21 to hit.
That is a hit.
And with sneak attack, I do 16 damage.
How would you like to finish off this direwolf?
As I run up, I will give it like a quick whistle so it looks at me, and then I'll just do a straight shot right to the eye.
Okay,
Look at the eye holes.
Yes.
Right in the eye holes. I like it. Perfect. Okay. And the direwolf lets out a as it's as the oxygen leaves its lungs and it goes limp. And you all stand around this hulking beast who lays still. Madam Helena, you are up.
Yeah. So I'm going to casually walk. I don't know how close I am to the door, but walk.
You're about 30
door.
feet from the door. Yep.
Okay, yeah. So I would use my movement and walk into the doorway.
Okay. All right. So as you crest the doorway, you see a flash of movement. What's your armor class?
16.
But you manage, as you see this flash of movement, you actually manage to duck it slightly, and a spear hits the door frame just where your head would have been in that moment. As Merelda, go ahead and fire off the firebolt.
All right.
Do they have a saving throw on firebolts? I don't remember.
Yeah, it's a roll to hit.
Attack. Yeah.
Yeah. That is a dirty 20.
With a dirty 20, which on the right or the left of the door? Sorry. The one on the left is the one that attacked. So
Yes.
that would have been the one that you were holding the action. And it was so it's the slighter of the two forms. There's two silhouettes. The one on the left is slighter than the one on the right. As you fire this firebolt, though, it illuminates the room as it travels towards its target. And you see that there are two humans, this kind of 6-foot, dark-haired man who I mentioned before, and a smaller, kind of scraggly, brown-haired woman. And this woman has now kind of swung for the doorway and just missed Madam Helena as she comes into the door. Damage on that?
13.
13. Okay. Nice shot. Okay. She takes the firebolt in the chest and it kind of bounces her off the wall as she did not see it coming at all, and kind of turns in your direction, noticing obviously you have come in the back and not realizing that was the case. At this point, the gentleman on the right starts to as he starts to contort and grow. Fur begins to grow from his skin as you hear the cracking and snapping of bones as he turns into what you know very well is a werewolf. Your prosthetic limb begins to tingle in the memory of how you lost your leg.
I hate those things.
The woman begins to contort as well as both of them turn into werewolves. The woman attacking Madam Helena, the male one attacking you, Esmeralda. One sec. What's your armor class, Esmeralda?
17.
The man starts to run towards you, turns into a lope, basically on all fours, and then comes back on his 2 feet again as he slices across with his claws. Now you having casted are completely not visible, or are visible now. Misses with the first one. You evade the first one, and then comes in and bites at you, and you evade the bite with the second one. Luckily. The one near you, Madam Helena, turns towards you.
So do I get my turn before then?
You said you walked right in. You didn't take an action.
But wasn't that, I thought they were holding their action to attack.
They did.
So
they
then
did.
I would still get my turn after that, right?
Yes, I guess you would, because after their held action, you would have. Yeah, so you get your action. You're right.
Okay,
Sorry.
yeah, sorry.
Go ahead.
So
My
in
apologies.
that case, after this, no, that's okay. After the spear striking at me, I will summon a Shadow Blade.
Okay.
And say, oh, so you are the ones who want to see my wares. And while they're still side by side, I will then use the cantrip Green Flame Blade.
Okay.
So I make a melee weapon attack at the female who tried to spear me.
Okay.
Which is a 14 plus an unnatural 20 to hit.
That is a hit.
All right. That's 2d8 psychic damage to her.
Woo!
Which I rolled a 15 on.
Okay.
And Green Flame Blade, then the green fire on my blade jumps to the person within 5 feet of her for, I think I have to make a second attack roll.
Yeah.
The second creature takes fire damage equal to your spellcasting ability modifier.
Okay, so you're attacking her with 2, is that right? 2 attacks?
So just one attack against her, and then the Green Flame Blade. As part of the action used to cast this spell, you must make a melee attack with a weapon against one creature within the spell's range, otherwise the spell fails. On a hit, the target suffers the attack's normal effects, and green fire leaps from the target to a different creature of your choice that you can hit within 5 feet of it. The second creature takes fire damage equal to your spellcasting ability modifier, which is
okay. And this Shadow Blade basically coalesces from your hand. Is that how it works? Yeah. So you see Madame Helena after you fire this firebolt, lifts her hand in the air, and this Shadow Blade appears in her hand and then bursts into this green bright flame that illuminates the inside of the room. And as this werewolf begins to bound towards you, towards Esmeralda, who you see now come to be after she fired that firebolt, you slice across and hit the woman, and then that arcs. I guess it arcs in a way.
Yeah.
And as that other werewolf is starting to bound towards Esmeralda, hits it in the back. Can you give me damage on both of those, please?
So it was a 15 for the female and 4 fire damage for the male, and it's psychic damage on the blades.
Four fire damage.
4
the male.
Damage, yeah.
Okay, and she screams with pain as she is racked by this attack, and it takes a large slash out of her right shoulder that she had just missed you with that spear with. Then she comes to, they transform. Oh, sorry, this would have happened before they transformed. So he would have got that damage, he would have transformed, now he attacks, and now we're back in initiative order. Which puts us at her attacking you back after you just did this. And that is, what's your armor class, Madame Helena?
16.
Okay. Comes across with claws, and you parry her arm away with your with kind of the flat end of your Shadow Blade.
Mm-hmm.
But then she comes in with a bite, and it makes purchase on your arm. I would like you to make a Constitution saving throw, please.
Yeah. That is a 13.
Cool. So you take 7 points of damage from the bite itself, and then you feel this burning sensation in your arm that quickly dissipates as you pull your arm out of her jaws. Tasha, you're up. Mercy, you're on deck. And at this point, you absolutely hear the sound of firebolts going off and blades being summoned and combat happening in the farmhouse. All of you.
Okay, I'm going to make a dash to the farmhouse then.
Okay, so you come out of the I guess you can go through the big side area where Nico left.
Yeah.
And as you kind of dash out the side, you make it, I'd say, I said it was like 50 to 100 feet. So I'm going to say you've made it halfway to the farmhouse from the distance from inside kind of the middle of the barn to the house. Another movement and you'll be at the door of the farmhouse. Okay.
Okay.
Mercy.
Okay, I'm going to cast Bark Skin on myself.
Okay. And you all see how as the texture of bark kind of apparates over Mercy's entirety of her skin.
Yep. And then I'm gonna use my movement to head to the house.
Okay. And is bark skin a bonus action?
No, it's an action.
It's a full action. Okay. So you do that, and now you're basically halfway from the barn house to Tasha. Okay. Sterling, you're up. Esmeralda, you're on deck.
All right, so I'm gonna dash towards the house as well. So
Okay, so you're side by side with Tasha. Esmeralda, this werewolf now has just taken a slash at you with its claws. It's bit at you and not made purchase. What do you do? You're muted right now. Go ahead.
Sorry.
No worries.
I'm gonna multi-attack, so the first two with my rapier and the last one with my silvered short sword.
Okay.
First one is a 25 to hit,
That's a hit.
and that is 10 points of piercing damage.
Okay. You do notice that as you pierce with your rapier, as you would imagine, you know werewolves well, that it doesn't pierce as deep as you thought it would. Now with your silvered short sword.
Oh, I have two rapier attacks.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
Okay,
go ahead.
so
Sorry.
The second rapier attack is a 24 to hit.
Jeez, that hits.
And that is only 6 points.
Okay.
And then the last one for the short sword, silvered short sword, is a 23 to hit.
Wow, that's a hit.
And that one is 9 points of damage.
9 points, and that one does full damage. You can tell it does as it pierces and slashes the skin. Sorry, 9 points. You said?
Yeah.
Okay, and you've done significant amounts of damage to this werewolf as you stab it twice and you slash across, and it's not even expecting this onslaught of an attack.
I'm getting phantom limb pain, and I'm pissed.
Yeah. Nico, you're up. Madam Helena's on deck.
All right, I will take a movement and a dash, and with cutting action, do another dash. So I'll go up to flank the side of the doorway with Madam Helena, if I can make it that far. So that's 90 feet movement, basically.
Yeah. So yeah, with 90 feet, you can make it to the door. So you just stand outside of the door. Yeah. She's in the doorway, and so you're just basically right beside her as all of this is happening.
I'll say to her, maybe we should bring him out if we can.
Okay, good. Helena, you're up.
I will look to Nico and then look to the werewolf in front of me and go, oh look, I guess I didn't come alone. I will again cast Green Flame Blade.
Yep.
Or actually, I guess I don't have to because they're too far away now. So it's just an attack, sorry?
Yeah.
And I think it misses because that's a 10.
That misses?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, that's good. And then I'm going to expend a sorcery point. Are they in a line right now? And is Esmeralda in that line?
No. So the female is to your right. The male is diagonal from her, and Esmeralda's in front of that male. So do you need a straight line from where you are?
Yes. Can I move to have a straight line with them?
No, because she's almost basically against a wall, unless you can fire through a wall.
I don't think I can. So in that case,
because she's right beside you, you'd have to get behind her. You can try and move, I guess, her out of the way, but that would be a grapple to try and kind of bring her out, and then do what you got to do.
Okay. I will still spend a sorcery point to quicken spell, so I can cast an action spell as a bonus action, and I'm going to cast blindness on the female werewolf in front of me.
Okay.
So that's a Constitution 15 save.
Ooh. Can you read out the effect?
Yeah. You can blind or deafen a foe. Choose one creature that you can see within range to make a Constitution saving throw. If it fails, the target is either blinded or deafened, your choice, for the duration, which is 1 minute. At the end of each of its turns, the target can make a Constitution saving throw. On a success, the spell ends.
Okay. Sorry, at the end of its turn, it can continue to...
Make another con save.
At the end of its turn?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Again, it has to pass what DC again, sorry, every time?
15.
15.
Yeah.
Okay, so all of a sudden she gets like the shock comes over her in this hybrid wolf form, and this wolf head begins to kind of thrash and look around as you hear her say, "I can't see."
I will say, "Come here, puppy," and I'm going to step out of the doorway to try and lure her out. So if she takes an attack of opportunity, it's at disadvantage.
Yes. As she does slash, and she misses. As she swings wide, and you back right out of the door, and now see that Nico is against the door beside you. And it's at the end of her turn, not the beginning, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Oh, Esmeralda. What's your armor class again?
17.
Okay. So the first one is a natural 20.
Oh, man.
And that is the claw. So you're going to take 8 points automatically.
All right.
That's 16 points of slashing damage as this claw... What's that?
In addition to the
No,
8?
that's in full.
Oh, full, okay.
For the claw, yep.
Gotcha.
And then it is going to attempt to bite you again. That was a 16, 17. That's a 20, so that's going to hit. And you are going to take 9 points of piercing damage. And I would like you to make a Constitution saving throw, please.
I am so opposite the chill level of Helena right now. Say.
I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh, 13.
This creature bites into your sword arm as it claws and then bites, and you immediately get the sense of fear, knowing exactly what could happen in this scenario.
Oh, that's my favorite arm.
You feel that burning sensation in your arm as the lycanthropy begins to try and transfer itself and take purchase, but you pull it away and you manage to save against its...
What are you trying to do to me, Jason?
That's exactly what I'm trying to do to you. The blind werewolf is going to step in. It steps to her left and starts to... I didn't do she's going to take some attacks, and she fails them, but then she gets a saving throw, correct?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, she starts to look around and shake her head, and then she looks directly at you. She has now come out of
I give her a
that blindness. Okay. Tasha, you're up. Mercy, you're on deck.
Okay. I'm going to move towards the house.
Okay. You make it to the doorway, and you now have an action. And you see that there's a werewolf in the... You're like, whoa! As you see this creature you have not seen before. Have you seen a werewolf before, as Tasha?
Yeah.
In the game? You have?
I would think I can't remember if I have or not.
Yeah. If they haven't attacked the camp as a werewolf, you probably haven't. You've heard of them for sure, but I don't know if you've actually seen one in person. But in this case, it is a slighter kind of hybrid werewolf human wolf creature, and it is looking directly at Madame Helena. You are now kind of in its grill. What do you do?
I'm gonna try taking a swing at it.
Okay. And you have silvered weapons?
One of my short swords is silvered, the other one is not.
Just let me know which one is the one that is silvered when you attack.
Neither one of them are gonna hit because they were both an 11.
Okay. It's difficult. You've got Nico on the side. You've got Madame Helena. You're trying to get in there and swing, but you're just not making purchase with your attacks, unfortunately. Mercy, you're up. Sterling, you're on deck. You're muted. No worries.
I'm just going to continue moving towards the house. I don't
Yes.
know.
Yeah, so you were 30 feet behind. So if you do a dash, you're at the door.
Okay, I will dash and then I will just take a look around and see what's going on.
Yeah, so you're right behind Tasha basically in everything that's going on. Sterling, you're up. Esmeralda, you're on deck.
So I was dashing to get to the house as well. Would I be at the house now, since I was next to Apollonia?
You would, with your movement, you're able to get to the door, and then you have an action at the door.
All right, this is gonna be tough because it's pretty packed in this like front vestibule, right?
Yeah, basically on the porch of this farmhouse.
Right. Am I even close enough to be able to hit anything with my sword?
Yeah, you could probably. Are you Big Sterling still?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, still Big Sterling.
Yeah, because I think you're tall enough to actually swing over people, potentially. So I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say that you would be allowed to basically, and you have to like stoop to get under kind of the front roof of this dilapidated porch. But you kind of come in, and I would say that you could definitely get a swing in here.
All right. And if it's fragile enough, I could just like walk right through that door frame too.
Yeah, I would say that you just break the front of the porch as you and just shards of wood kind of fly. You're not in the house, but you're basically on the porch, and your feet basically go through this rotten porch as you're about to attack. Make an attack.
All right. With my bonus action, I'm going to activate Uvar so that I can, as a reaction, give somebody advantage or disadvantage on something if needed. But I'm not going to use that reaction during this turn. I am going to. Sorry, I've already rolled my attacks, but I want to make sure that now that I've used my bonus action, I can still do an action surge. Yeah, I can still action surge. So, all right, so I'm going to use an action surge here. I made 2 attacks. One was a 13, the other one was a 23.
23 hits.
Okay, 23 hits. That one does 9 points of damage.
Oh, wait. 13 does hit.
Yep. Oh, okay. Then that one was 15 points of damage, including my Big Sterling power. And then the second hit is 9 points of damage, including my Big Sterling strength.
Jeez. Not silvered, right?
Not silvered, no. And not magical either.
And what was the second amount, sorry?
9. I mean, I could try to like hit it with my drift globe because that's magical, but I don't know if that works.
Yeah, I don't think it works. But you come down with wide arcing swings as you start to slice across this werewolf, and blood starts to pour from its fur. Well done. Esmeralda, you're up. Nico, you're on deck.
Okay. Jason, I'm not a barbarian, but I can relate to the rage level at this point. I'm the one that attacked me is the gentleman werewolf that's still in front of me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna multi-attack. First one is no, I don't know. The first one's only 9 points to hit.
No.
So nuts to that. Second one is a 22 to hit.
That is a hit.
And that's 7 points of piercing damage.
Okay.
And
that's with your rapier?
That's the rapier. The last one is the silvered short sword. That is 24 to hit.
Woo, hits.
And that is for 5 points of piercing damage.
Okay. And that last slashing one, you almost hear a hiss as it comes through. You slash and as if it obviously just the silver connecting with the skin and doing the full damage that is necessary in order for it to penetrate the werewolf hide. Nico, you're up.
Okay. Do I get flanking? Do we do advantage for flanking?
No.
Okay. I will just attack then, since I'm right next to the female werewolf. And being of Camp Odo, who did get attacked by the werewolves, do these two look familiar at all?
Good question. No, they do not.
Okay. So to hit, that is a 17.
That's a hit.
And it's a silver rapier with sneak attack.
Okay.
That's only 10 damage.
Only 10?
Only 10.
And her not realizing you are actually to the side of the door, and now kind of taking in the fact that there are so many of you, she gets that rapier right in the side, not having basically defended against it, and it digs deep. And you can see she turns to you and just grimaces and growls in your face.
Good.
As that happens. Go ahead.
As a bonus action, I will use Master of Tactics.
Okay.
Which means I can do help action as a bonus action, so I will give help to Apollonia for her next attack or skill. She'll get advantage.
There you go. All right. Awesome. Well done. Madam Helena, you're up.
Right. Now sort of emboldened and surrounded by all of our allies. How far am I from the other werewolf that's on Esmeralda?
Yeah, at this point you're probably about 30 feet because it's now it's inside and across the room, at the back door, yeah, or at the room to the kitchen, which is about 30 feet across.
In that case, I'm going to take a strike.
And there is a werewolf right in front of you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to take a strike at the werewolf in front of me.
Okay.
That's.
But you do have a straight line between the werewolves at this point.
I do.
Yes.
Okay. Still taking the attack. That's a 17 to hit.
Okay, that is a hit.
For 3 points of psychic damage.
Okay.
And then I will use another sorcery point to quicken another spell, and I'm going to cast blindness, but on the werewolf in front of Esmeralda.
Okay. And Esmeralda, you see that this werewolf, as you're kind of locked in combat and kind of you're both striking at each other, you see it shake off some sort of effect, but you're not sure what that is. Okay.
And yeah, that'll end my turn.
That'll end your turn. Okay. The werewolf in front of you, Esmeralda, is going to attack again. At this point, actually, that werewolf is going to attempt to get past you as it wants to leave out the back. So it's gonna it kind of backs off you a bit and then turns to run the other way. You get an attack of opportunity against it.
Yeah.
Can I use
I will
Uvar to give her advantage?
stab
Sure
it
you
with with my silvered short sword. And that is an 18 to hit.
18 to hit. That is a hit.
And that is 7 points of damage.
Okay. And you kind of slash it across its arm as it passes you, and it reaches out with its claw as it passes you as well, and you take 7 points of slashing damage.
Can I, as a reaction, cast shield?
Sure you can.
Because I remember now that I have that.
Yeah, totally. And he has now basically reached the back door leading out. He's about 30 feet. He's about 40 feet from, 30 feet from you. Okay. One sec, sorry. Okay. The other one in front of all of you, it is going to attack with its claws. Knowing that, obviously it's kind of surrounded from the front at this point. It attacks you, Nico. What's your armor class?
15.
15?
Yep.
Okay, that is a hit. That's 8 points of damage.
Okay.
And then it is also going to try and... Sorry, who's right in front of it? All of you are, right? Mercy, you're not. Sterling, you're just behind. So it's more... It's Nico, Madam Helena, and Tasha that are in front, right?
Yeah, and then I think Sterling's like standing kind of right behind me, above me type thing.
Yeah. What's your armor class, Josh?
16.
That is not enough, as its jaws basically like snap right in front of your neck.
Now, puppy.
As she reaches. You're so funny.
I was like, how are you this tall?
I know. This is just Josh. This is.
I have lived in the mist for many years.
That's awesome. Tasha, you're actually, and after she does that, she is going to turn to run. As she realizes that she is greatly outnumbered, I am going to give Nico, Helena, and Tasha attacks of opportunity.
That is
Mine is a 21.
That's a hit.
17.
Hit.
24.
Hits. Damage for all those.
4 damage.
I need half for non-silver weapons, please.
Yeah. 4 damage silver.
4. Okay.
6 silver.
And 7 psychic.
Okay. So Nico, again, you pull your rapier out basically, and you stab her again as blood starts to really kind of flow as she kind of claws at the side of the building. And then Tasha, you come down with your silvered short sword. How would you like to finish off this werewolf?
Off with her head!
You basically come across and with both short swords, slice her head from her shoulders as it kind of flies into the air. And as it's in the air, it begins to transform back into her human form and is almost basically human by the time it hits. Her body kind of stands for a moment as it reverts to human, collapses to her knees, and falls prone, blood pouring from her neck. Mercy, you're up. Or Tasha,
Yep.
did you get your turn yet? No, you didn't. Tasha, you're
No,
up.
because that last one was an opportunity attack.
Right. Tasha, you're up. Mercy, you're on deck.
So I'm going to walk up to the other werewolf.
Okay, so the werewolf has now run. So you're basically like 60 feet from the other werewolf. It's at the back door. Do you want to dash to get to it?
Sure.
Okay, so you run basically through kind of the common area, through the doorway into the kitchen area, and you've now run to the back door, and you're right at its back, but can't take an action just yet. Mercy, you're up. Sterling, you're on deck.
Okay, so I'm at the door. How far is the last werewolf from the door?
60. You're about 60 feet from it.
Okay. I'm going to move 30 feet into the building.
Yeah.
And I am going to cast Infestation on
Okay.
the werewolf and
Okay.
say, every dirty dog has fleas, and I'm going to and a cloud of fleas will attack the werewolf.
That's
he
great.
He needs to do a con save 14.
And he fails.
Okay, so I do 2d6 poison damage, and a random roll will move the werewolf.
Okay.
That's 7 damage.
Okay.
And the werewolf. Okay, why isn't it? Oh, hold on. And I got a 4, so it will make the werewolf move. Sorry, this is the first time. The werewolf has to move one direction west. This movement does not provoke opportunity attacks, and if the direction rolled is blocked, the target doesn't move.
Okay, so it has to move to its left, but it's currently in the doorway, so it just kind of moves. It starts to like do this, and it's basically bouncing against the door jambs. How much does it have to move?
It just says 5 feet in a random direction, and it says
so
west.
he's basically trapped in the doorway, and he starts to claw as you see Esmeralda, this swarm of fleas kind of apparate around him and then jump on and attack him. Okay. Sterling, you're up. Esmeralda, you're on deck.
All right, so I'm right with Apollonia. I'm gonna try to catch up, so I'm gonna use a dash to get to.
Okay. Yeah. So you get there. You can take a bonus action or something. Or are you done?
Yeah, there's nothing else I can do of note for a bonus action right now, but I've got some cool reaction stuff I could do.
You hear Sterling just through the common area. He bursts through the doorway, basically, and it just comes crashing down into the kitchen area as he catches up to that werewolf. Esmeralda, you're up. Nico, you're on deck.
How far is it for me to catch up?
30.
30 feet?
Yeah.
So I would like to catch up to it, but be out of the way of everybody else.
Okay.
So that I can get a clear line
Okay.
to the wolf.
Now, there are two people in front of the wolf, so within melee range, but you have a direct diagonal. But there are people right beside him, two of them, Sterling and Tasha.
How close are they?
Oh, no, sorry, not Tasha. Sterling and... Are you all?
Apollonia.
Yeah. Apollonia and Sterling, yeah.
Are they within melee range or out of melee range?
They're in melee range with the wolf right now.
Crap. I
Lightning?
take that back. Yes.
Hey, welcome to my life.
Okay.
Just go for it. I can do it.
I mean, I could still do a firebolt and not hit them.
Yes, you could.
So I will do that.
Hey.
All right, and that is a 24 to hit.
24 as you extend your hand again and a firebolt flies forward, smashing into the back of this flea-ridden werewolf.
And it's 15 points of damage.
Okay. Esmeralda, how would you like to finish off this werewolf?
Yeah.
Okay. With that cast of firebolt, it just rushes towards it and almost like looks like he's about to explode.
Yeah.
With the fireball's about to explode,
Yeah.
and then you just see chunks of werewolf and flesh and guts and fur, and then all of a sudden the fleas just disperse.
And they find their little corners, and we are now out of initiative, and the werewolves are no more.
Awesome.
You all kind of collect yourselves, you look around, you're breathing deeply. You take a moment to make sure that there are no other threats or anybody else in the house, and there's silence from what you can tell, except for your breaths and your labored breathing. What do you do?
Are there any sign of the children?
Yes, spread it out. Let's look. Maybe so there's a cellar. Maybe there's an attic.
So you all start to look. Esmeralda, you start to go upstairs on these kind of dilapidated, half-broken stairs. But very clearly, you found kind of like an old, moth-ridden, moldy rug that you pull, and there is a trapdoor in the middle of the common area, or sorry, the kitchen area that you find under some debris and this old rug.
I'm sorry, who found that?
Nico found that.
Oh, okay.
I will whip the rug away and kind of get everybody's attention.
Yeah.
And try to pop the door open.
Okay. It's not locked. You open it up. You have dark vision?
Yes.
And as you open it up, at the bottom of this shaft, you see 4 cold, scared children tied up, looking up towards you. You know, they've got some scratches and some nicks and some blood. What do you do?
I will jump down there real quick, and realizing I still have my Valaki disguise on, I'll kind of do like a sleight of hand magic trick.
Yeah. Take
it off and then start to do their binds, untie it.
They tense and they get incredibly scared at first. And even when you're removing their ropes, they don't know if you're friend or foe until Sterling kind of comes over and looms over. Even as big Sterling, they see him and are first put off by the size of Sterling because they're not used to big Sterling, especially red-eyed big Sterling. I'm assuming you drop your big Sterling at that point.
Yeah.
As you shrink down, your blue eyes light up the cellar area, and the children are brought up one by one, and Sterling, being the person that they recognize the most, begin to hug you and are thankful for what you've done. And that is where we will end the session for today.
Nice.
Thank you, guys. That was so much freaking fun. I had a blast I want to say a massive thank you to James, Mercy, and Tasha for paying to be in this and bidding as high as you did. It blew my mind. I was late to the game. I think I was like only 10 days or like a week closer to the end of, or even less than that. I don't even remember what it was.
Like less than a week. I think I bid on it for 3 days.
Yeah, it was like 3 days. We were 3 days until the thing.
Really, really
Yeah.
close. And I'm like, when did this happen? I'm like, God.
It was short.
I know it was really short, and I messaged Fenway. I was like, "Hey, I really want in. I know it's last minute. We're probably not going to get the bids, but we'll try." And then literally a couple days later, she sent me a message saying, she was like, "I can't. You have some of the highest bids that we've gotten. Thank you so much." And I was just blown away by it. So thank you so very much for doing this. You've made a massive difference, and I know it's incredibly close to your hearts, as it is to ours. And for those of you out there, we've said it a bunch of times already today. We're going to say it again. If you're lonely, if you're struggling, don't let it get to a point where there is no hope. There are people around you that love you and care for you. Reach out to somebody, talk to somebody. And then for those of you that have dealt with somebody who has passed, I know the first thing that I did after Todd passed was I did the woulda, shoulda, couldas. What could I have done? What would I have done? What should I have done? And you have to understand that it is their choice that they have made. And the guilt that comes with that is something that I understand, something that needs to be processed. I still process it to this day, but just know that it isn't your fault. And that is incredibly important when it comes to these things. If you are out there and you know that there's somebody who is hurting, don't hesitate. Last time I saw Todd was at my birthday party here, and he wasn't okay. I knew he wasn't okay, and I saw it in his eyes, and I stopped him on his way out, and I said, "Dude, you're not okay. What can I do?" And he said, "Oh, it's work, and it's this, and it's that." And I don't know what more I could have done in that moment, but know that if there's somebody out there that's hurting, please go out of your way to do what you can to reach out and to make sure that they're all right. Because being embarrassed or being wrong is worth not losing somebody. So thank you, everyone. You've been incredible. Please head to the URL on the screen in order to support. That is tinyurl.com/GJDO2020. I want to thank everyone at Daddy Warbucks and everyone at Jasper's Game Day for making this possible. It's been incredible. I want to thank all of our players. We'll see you guys in the Discord. I'd like to thank Brandon, of course, for joining us from the regular cast, for Esmeralda from the regular cast too, especially at last minute. Nora, it's been amazing. And of course, Josh, who we let out of the basement every once in a while to do these sorts of things.
Finally did
it. If you like what you saw today and you want to see more from RealmSmith, you can catch up on season 1 and now season 2 on YouTube, as well as our Tides of Wildmail campaign on youtube.com/RealmSmith. And you can watch us live every Monday night, including this coming Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. 5 p.m. I can always do that. 4 p.m. Pacific. Math and time zones just don't work. Those are two things that I'm just not good at. But thank you, everyone, for watching. We really, really appreciate it. We'll see you Monday night. I'm not doing Nolzers tonight. I also have my grandmother is dealing with the last days of cancer, so I'm also dealing with that this weekend. So that is, we all have things going on, and we're all just people who are trying to do life. And this wonderful game of D&D gets us through it. I literally, on a weekly basis, get a message saying that our show gets somebody through another week, and this community gets somebody through another week. And I can't tell you how much that means to me. Before I cry, I'm going to say bye to you guys, and you guys have a wonderful day. Enjoy the rest of the streaming. Thank you, Fenway, and everyone for making us a wonderful part of this incredible charity. You guys have a good night. We'll see you. Take care.